Hi there and welcome to this episode of Craig Houston Talks to Houston May Have a Problem live call-in show. So, the room's been very, very busy recently. So what I'm going to do tonight is, for the first hour, it'll just be me and Basil, and we're going to try and get as many people from the watching the gallery to come up and tell us Houston may have a problem and tell us what their problems are. Because I think what's happened the last few nights, we've had all my pals on and there's been like 9 and 10 people in, and it's probably been a bit weird for people to come up thinking, well, I'm no part of that wee gang. So I'm going to try and encourage as many of you as possible to come up, and then from sort of so maybe 8 o'clock onwards, we'll get like Kev and all the other gang in. So if you want to get involved, if you're watching on YouTube, it's really simple. You go into the description, there's a link to the StreamYard studio. You hit that, and then you come. And if you're watching on X, on the title, the link's in there. So just copy paste it or press it, and you'll take you right through. And if you are coming on, either stick some headphones in or make sure whatever you're watching is on is turned off, or get terrible feedback with a few people. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Hopefully the first hour we get plenty of people coming in and saying Houston may have a problem and telling us what their concerns are about the world just now. Now, I've put out a couple of videos today, and one of them is absolutely heartbreaking. And what I'm going to do just now is I'm going to bring up the video. There's Basil back in the room with a wee bit of IT problem. So I'm going to bring up that video of a 92-year-old man who spent 35 years in the Black Watch Regiment of our army. And somebody that I know, Donna, who was up at Perth on Saturday at the protest, she got a wee bit of exposure through some of the newspapers trying to do sort of hit pieces on her. I was up in Perth yesterday, and I went into her house to meet her and her man. Lovely people. And we're going to do a wee podcast tomorrow with Donna telling us what's happened to her since she turned up at a protest at an asylum hotel. So anyway, Donna was out in Perth today, and she came across a man in the city centre. She knew him. She knew
This is Johnny.
And he was a soldier, as I say, for 32 years. So I'm just going to pop this on.
And how old are you?
And make it full screen. And let us watch this, because this is incredible. It's heartbreaking. It's inspiring. It's loads of things. But just listen to this 92-year-old man's story.
92.
And you were in the army?
The Black Watch.
For how long?
About 35 years. I'm one of the longest serving soldiers in the army.
Yeah, and tell me your situation. Why are you sitting here, Johnny, with this?
I'm sitting here
this,
because...
wait a minute, this says ex-Black Watch, 35-year, 91-year-old man, God bless. So you're sitting begging in the street, and tell them why?
Well, what different reason. One reason is the people who come here on the pretense of taking away our economy, taking away the future of Scotland, changing our economy. I'm here for that reason, and also because, well, I'm on my own, and my wife's dead, and I'm here to get. I've made a lot of friends, and the
You're
friends keep me alive. Keep me alive.
I know. Could you tell me about the £400 that the council sent you an invoice for, Johnny?
Yeah, they sent me. Well, what it was, when my wife was alive, she got me one of these things.
Community alarm.
Yeah, and I forgot all about it.
Was it a community alarm or was community alarm? Okay, so that's in case you fall.
Yeah, that's in the
so
house.
You pay, so that's a good idea. So they charged you what?
Well, they gave me first of all for £400, and I went down to them. I said, look, I'm not paying that. I want to cancel it because I should be getting it for free because it's under my health, because I've got heart trouble, and if I'm on my own in the house, and if I fall, how can I communicate for whatever?
Of course. Now, tell me what you think of the illegal refugees in the Queen's Hotel and the Station Hotel, because I believe there's 191 of them. So what do you think of that, Johnny? Now, you'll be for giving them a sanctuary, of course, if they're legal. Tell me what you think about the illegal ones.
I'll tell you what it is. I don't mind if the people come in and go money into the economy,
Yes.
have brains, who are going to join the society rather than come in and just.
And you'll welcome them.
I welcome them. If they become a society and be a part of society. And I don't think a majority of them, I see young guys here, very young guys, if they were running away from their country, why weren't they fighting like I was during the war with their own country?
Because they've fled the country, and what they do, Johnny, is they come over in the dinghies. They pay money to come over.
Yeah.
They'll no stay in France. They come to Scotland and England because Scotland's a very weak country. We've got Keir Starmer, and he's got no backbone, so therefore they're getting all the benefits free now. See the likes of yourself, that you've worked all your life.
Yes.
You were in the army, whatever. That's your money. That's your taxpayers' money that is actually keeping them.
I paid all the taxes.
Johnny, they get free gym memberships, they get fresh fruit every day, they get 3 meals a day, and they get money, I think it's every day or weekly, and they're getting protected. And the council are doing nothing about it. There's more coming over every day. Johnny, could you just say exactly how you feel? I'm going to wrap this up, but thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you. I've known you all my life. You were a friend of my father-in-law's.
Yeah. No,
Bob Henderson.
Oh,
That's my father-in-law.
How's you? Bob's dead now.
Yeah, Bob passed away, but listen.
How's your wife now?
His wife's fine, but this is about how you feel. So why are you sitting here, Johnny, and what's your circumstances at home?
I'm sitting here thinking I'm doing my own little thing and to sort of showing the society that this is Scotland.
This is Scotland, this is Great Britain, and the illegal immigrants are getting more benefits than you. Am I right?
All the benefits.
Right. So, do you get any benefits, Johnny, if you didn't mind me asking?
I don't get no
So
benefits.
you get nothing at all?
No, nothing at all.
Right. Johnny, I'm going to wrap this up now, but I really appreciate everything you've said.
Here, Bob Henderson.
Okay, I'll give you a wee hug before I go.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
thank you. Hang on a minute, I'll just turn this off. Thank you.
Did you see that earlier, Basil?
I did, mate. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good, right, okay. Sorry, I had my laptop exploded as soon as the live started, so I had to switch to another one, so I was just making sure everything was all right. Yeah, I have seen that, mate. It was absolutely appalling. I mean, look, there are so many people in this country right now who are feeling incredibly down about the way it's been run, but to see an elderly man like that who is in so devastated to see what's happened in his lifetime to his country that he loves. It's just heartbreaking, you know. And there's people up and down this country who feel exactly the same way as him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's heartbreaking and it's inspiring though as well. There's a guy, an 82-year-old. Now, I was talking to Donna who made the video and sent it up to me. He was a bodybuilder. She sent me photographs. I maybe do something else on him. I fancy meeting him myself, to be honest with you. When I said that in the video, that I've also sent it to a few folk I know that are ex-military. And I asked one of them, do you know many people in the Black Watch, ex-Black Watch? And they're like, yeah. I went, well, go and send them this. There must be like a Black Watch personnel charity or group that will, can help these people. But it broke my heart. So next time I'm up there, I'm going to go and try and look him out and even just lie there waiting for half an hour. He just seems lonely, and obviously he's lost his wife at some point, and he just stay with a wee pal, you know. So I'll certainly be visiting him at some point. So what's been on your timeline today, Basil?
Well, obviously there's been a lot of kerfuffle about these girls from Dundee, which, if you remember, actually I probably could share my timeline, couldn't I, if I doesn't share my screen. Does that work? Share screen. That's the first time I've ever done this before. Let's give it a go. Right, I think that's working. Yeah, so as you can see, there's been a lot of stuff about the two girls in Dundee, but we'll go down at the start of the day and just go through it all. So here we go. So it starts off with with this. So the Police Scotland yesterday, they put out a notice saying that they want people to stop sharing this video because it is misinformation. Now, they didn't actually specify what misinformation there was within the video or what people were saying. They named Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson and said people such as them have been sharing it. And obviously I've shared it. Loads of people have shared it. So I don't know what exactly they're getting at. However, there were a number of people who jumped on that and said, you know, it shouldn't be shared because the story of a migrant trying to threaten little girls is not true. Now, online immediately there was a backlash to this, so people were writing up stories of what they knew had happened. They know the family or whatever, and I've put some of the comments that I've seen regarding it. Obviously, we never know what's true and what isn't when it comes to social media, and you always have to make that clear. But the point is that there was clearly enough people in the local area. This is from a local Facebook group on in the Dundee area, saying that, you know, this is not the case. Actually, this guy was a danger to them, and so on. So if we go through, we will see the guy who's in charge of the Spectator. He actually turned around and said, this is Freddie Sayers. He said, and just as I suspected, the whole story of this girl being attacked by a migrant is just propaganda slop. Good day to all the thousands of morons who amplified it and who piled on me for questioning it. Now, his argument, Freddie's argument, is that it's not a migrant, right? Not, well, I think he claims it's not an illegal migrant, but I never saw anyone claim it was an illegal migrant. I only saw people claim it was a migrant. And even the Daily Mail said that, I mean, they got their sources mixed up. Police sources have also confirmed there is no evidence to support the online rumours Mr. Dumana is a migrant or committed any offence. Now we can reveal the man being threatened is a family man who has been living in the UK for 4 years. So it turns out Mr. Dumana is a migrant from Bulgaria. So I don't know how they can get away with saying this, right? But obviously I wrote on Freddie's page explaining that. And since then, it's just gone in overdrive with many people claiming that this is not the case, that this is not what happened. Look, the evidence is pretty straightforward, right? We don't have all of the facts, but what we can see is a man who is going after some young girls. Remember, these are 12 and 14 years old. No man shouldn't be approaching these women, these girls in the street, right? Regardless of the state of them, regardless of the weapons they were carrying. I mean, again, how terrified they must be to carry those weapons. She's 12 years old, right? 12 and 14, that's what their ages are. And Mr. Dumana, the Daily Mail has presented him as this nice guy who's just, you know, he got into an altercation with them over some thing at the shops or something. It was just a load of rubbish. It took me 2 minutes of looking into this guy to find he puts posts up on the internet like this. This man recording little girls is believed to be Bulgarian national Fatis Ali Dumana, a self-described gypsy gangster man. He makes posts on social media that say, I'm waiting for you whores to get in my supercar. And that's what he posted here, right? He's also posted things like this, and he's posted things like this, right? This is not this innocent family man who the Daily Mail have painted him as. And if you read the Daily Mail article, it's full of conjecture and crap. There's no actual substantial evidence there to suggest anything. So many people have just turned and said, well, release the CCTV then. Release the CCTV, because apparently there is that of the event, and show us what actually happened. Obviously, they haven't done that. So, again, the Daily Mail jumping on things straight away. And do you know what I love about this? The left will always, they used to always slag off the Daily Mail and say the Daily Mail's out of order and all the rest of it. And, you know, we don't like the Daily Mail, it just lies and stuff. And then today, because it's saying what they want to hear, they say, oh, it must be true, you know. I did have a look at a little laugh at that, but nation that once charged into death, certain death for freedom, now letting their daughters handle the rape gangs. Obviously, that's Babylon B, the satire in their place in America. They also did a little one about Keir Starmer before, where they said UK enacts plan to stop rape gangs by arresting all potential rape victims. Yeah, the rest of the world are watching this, by the way, and laughing at us. Unfortunately, it's no laughing matter for the people and the girls who live here. Anyway, yeah, I've seen a few people. That was what that guy, Craig, who said Basil's been caught lying or something. That was what that was about. He said it was about that. No one's been caught lying because no one knows what actually happened other than we can take from the evidence we have. But one thing we definitely know is that man is a migrant, right? So where they're coming from with that, I have
Here's
no
my
idea.
take on it. Right. As soon as it came out, I thought there's going to be more to this story than we know at first. Right. So I kind of didn't do much about it. I've not done any videos about it, but I spoke about it on Twitter. But the police statement today, right, said that there's been misinformation, right? So I went on to the police statement and said, well, why don't you just tell us what happened? Then nobody can put out misinformation because you'll put out the truth. There's a couple of people come in and said, oh, no, because that could affect a court case. I went, well, stop you right there. One, the adults were told had committed no crime. So they'll not be going to court. And we don't take kids to court in the United Kingdom. So what court case? There is absolutely no if nothing else happened, right? There is not going to be a court case. The only way there would be a court case if there's any adult had done any criminality. And I could understand why. But so if it's, if it's if you don't want misinformation to be spread, then tell us what happened. Then there's no misinformation to spread, is there?
Yeah, agreed. The Daily Mail articles here, is that shown on screen right now? No, it's not. I have to switch the screen. The thing up. Can you see the Daily Mail article show? That's shown.
No, it's your timescale. Tell your timescale, your timeline. Ready
timeline, yeah. Timeline. Give us a second. Just give us a second. Let's just load this up. Basically, I mean, I could read through it. The only point I was going to do is just show you guys that there's nothing in the article that suggests that this has been a lie. Or the only thing they've said is he wasn't a migrant, and then they've corrected that later on in the article. So clearly they haven't done their due diligence either. They literally have put nothing up to suggest that isn't what happened. They've described the incident, and you can go and look at the article. If you want to go to Freddie Sayers' page, you can grab the article, and all they've said is his bio says he's a gentleman from the kingdom in Bulgaria, which again proves he's a migrant. Okay, I mean it's ridiculous the way that they've put this article together.
Yeah, the space of two paragraphs said he's not a migrant, and then told you he's from Bulgaria.
Yeah, so there you go.
You're not a migrant then if you come from Bulgaria.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a load of nonsense. Anyway, that was what that guy had a pop to me about. There's a few people that have popped today about that and said that you were chatting rubbish, and I'm like, well, I'll be honest with you. I've read the article. There's nothing in there that suggests that anyone's lying. Clearly, the Daily Mail don't know, but what I do know. What? Sorry.
What particular thing were you getting a pop at you for lying because you said it was a migrant?
I don't know. A guy wasn't specific. He just said about the Dundee lasses. So, I mean, look, the point is, right, we know that there was a migrant there. We know that he was aggressively approaching two young girls who, again, were the children, right, in the street. Mm-hmm. And he's got them on record. And it's like, what are you doing, mate? You should be backing away from them, But that's not what's gone on there. And as I say, there's more to this story. I still believe that he's not been completely right, just because of the amount of social media posts I've seen from the area in particular, where people have said, this guy is a problem, he's done things in the past, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, right, well, maybe there's more to this story than we're not. So we'll find out. I'm sure we'll find out when it goes to court, because they are, obviously, they've all been charged. She's been charged with possessing weapons. He's been charged, I don't know what he's been charged with, but he was detained anyway. So we'll find out. We'll find out what's happened. Anyway, moving on. Here's the arrest cam of the migrant. I'll just play this. This is the Epping Hotel protest, the one that started all of these protests off. This is the guy who was arrested for allegedly assaulting a 14-year-old girl, sexually assaulting her. And sure enough, he was captured by the police. And he absolutely cried his eyes out.
As a child. Yeah. So the allegation is that you've touched a child on the inside of the groin. Come over here. I need to search you. Don't cry. It's going to be okay. Come step onto the pavement. So I've got a little bit more room. You can leave your shoes on. It's okay. Step onto the pavement here. No. Stand up. Stand up. There we go. And then towards me. Watch. Follow. Okay. There you go. It's now 17:50, and I'm arresting you.
So obviously the video goes on and on, but that's basically what happened, and that's what started off. So his arrest cam was released, and obviously he's been charged, and we'll see what happens in the court case with that one. Moving on, obviously last week in Canada, it was the court case of the guy just over a year ago. He just had a horrific knife attack on a gentleman in Canada. Abdul Aziz Kawam. I mean, look away if you're squeamish, but this is what happened.
Before Kawam pulls out a large knife and attacks, slashing at the victim's
Oh
neck
my
3
God.
times and intending to kill him, according to the admissions at
Horrific, right? He actually rang 911 himself and said that he was doing this for ISIS.
Sir, what's going on?
On behalf of the Islamic State, I just did an attack in the bus.
Crazy. So that was just over the year. I think it was end of 2023 that happened, and it's finally gone to court. Obviously, horrific attack, but just a reminder that this is happening in Canada. It's happening everywhere in the world where we've taken in massive amounts of Muslims, unfortunately. There are wrong ones amongst them, and that's what's happening. So just 6.1% of Brits oppose stripping dual British Pakistanis of their citizenship if they were involved in grooming gangs. This was a poll done by Restore Britain, which again, I don't understand. That goes to show, by the way, Labour Party, the Labour government are on the side of that 6.1% who don't want to strip them of their their citizenship. So again, I don't know why this government is so at odds with the rest of the British public, but they seem to be. Obviously, Ryland Clark, that went on from yesterday, where even Ryland Clark, who is a very mainstream celebrity kind of guy, on this morning did a rant about the illegal migrant system, saying that, you know, they're getting all these free things. This is a major problem. If you haven't seen that, that clip's flying about. The Refugee Council submitted a proposal.
That's no Ryland, the guy that started off in the Big Brother house, Ryland.
That's the same Ryland, yeah. Did you not see that clip?
No, I've been busy, mate, for the last 2 days.
Right, okay. Yeah, I mean, we can put it on if you want.
Is he not, right, so this guy who's openly gay, right, and normally he's on the left side of everything you've ever heard him say, is he just not woke enough anymore?
Apparently so. I mean, look, here's the clip. I'll let you work out for yourself.
Yeah.
Remember, this is on This Morning, which is kind of very soft daytime television.
This country is built on immigration, legal immigration. You know, a lot of the nurses, the doctors that have saved my mum's life have come over here from other countries, are living a great life. They're paying into this tax system. They're helping this country thrive. I find it absolutely insane that all these people, one, are risking their lives coming across the channel like that they are. But two, when they get here, it does seem, and I think this is why a lot of Labour voters as well are now sitting there going, there's something wrong here. It seems, welcome, come on in. This is the narrative we're being fed. Here's the hotel. Here's the phones. Here's the iPad. Here's the NHS in reception of your hotel. Here's 3 meals a day. Here's a games room in the hotel. Have a lovely time and welcome. And then there's people that have lived here all their lives that are struggling. They're homeless. Let's not even discuss our homeless. That are people living on the streets, veterans, all of this. Now, this isn't me getting on my soapbox, because let me be honest, everyone's going to have an opinion about this, and you're going to upset someone some which way. I believe that something major needs to be done about this. The money that it's costing us, the amount of people that are in this country that we have no idea who they are, what they've done, what they're capable of, and clearly we see a lot of it in the press at the moment, some of what some are doing, it's not all, what some are doing to people in this country. How can, if I turn up at Heathrow Airport as a British citizen and I've left my passport in Spain, I've got to stand at that airport and won't be let in and got to get this, but if I arrive on a boat in Calais, I get taken to a 4-star hotel.
Fair point, right?
Wow. Somebody's put in the comments, look at their faces, right? Mate,
I know.
They just were like, you're not going to go there. Surely you're not going to go there. Right?
Well,
and
there's been suggestions that he's not. There's been suggestions he's not going to have his contract renewed, which is their way of sacking people. Look, I don't know. So far, they've not announced anything. I'm not sure if he was on This Morning today. I don't know if it's his turn or whatever. I don't know if they rotate, but it went round, and obviously you got a lot of a pile-on from a lot of people, but an awful lot of people stuck up for him and said, you know, that's how many people in the country are feeling right now. But what I would say is, if This Morning has a host that is talking that way, the zeitgeist has changed in the country. You know, it's getting through to the mainstream, you know, and people must be feeling that way if he feels confident enough to say that on air. So let's wait and see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if once his contract runs out, if it's only got a couple of months left or whatever, that contract's not renewed. So the Daily Mirror reported that migrants have been traumatised. Camilla Tominey,
That
yeah.
was Camilla Tominey that was on the show. Somebody just
That's right, yeah.
commented, is she left the B News?
Is she
Or
left
was
GB News? She was on GB News. She's now with I don't know if she still is, but she's with the Telegraph as well. She does their podcast for the Telegraph, I think. So, yeah, she's the one who, even though she's on GB News, she called Tommy Robinson a white supremacist. Did you know that? So, yeah, she's bad news in my opinion.
I also seen her really have a go at Farage one day, and I thought, you might not be. I seen her have a go at Farage one day, and I thought, you're not going to be on that channel for long.
I don't know. The thing with Camilla Tominey is I never read where she sits on the political spectrum, because, like I say, I mean, just calling Tommy Robinson a white supremacist, I think, goes to show that she's really not clued up on a lot of things in regards to that, or she is clued up and she wants to appear to not be anywhere near that side of politics. She's since got called out about that online, and sure enough, she defended herself and said, I never said that. And then I posted the clip underneath her timeline, and Tommy jumped on it and went, yeah, well, look, you did. You know what I mean? So she can't run away from it. I don't know why she said some of the things she said. She strikes me as someone who likes to, you know, she's more interested in keeping obviously her own job than telling the truth necessarily. But I don't know. Anyway, the Refugee Council submitted a proposal to the government that would end the migrant hotel crisis. When I looked at it, it just says we should grant amnesty to all of them and just let them out. It's like, that's not a proposal.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So moving forward,
did you post today a photograph of the not the whole of the Home Office, but some Home Office event? Was that
yes?
I seen it on my timeline. I hope we'll get that up. That was a cracker.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Obviously, the Minnesota shooter. If anyone hasn't seen it yesterday, obviously 2 dead, 17 injured at a school in Minnesota. His manifesto was published online. There's nothing gratuitous in there, but obviously it's not nice to listen to. If you want to listen to it, you can go to my page and listen to it on there. He basically goes through, he's a radical left, he's trans, he's himself changed his name from Robert to Robin, that's him there. And yeah, he's very like anti-Semitic, he has magazines, literally magazines of bullets that say kill Donald Trump on them. I mean, this guy is insane beyond belief. But it just goes to show, and what happened is today in the UK, the reason why it got brought back up again is because it was brought up on Top TV, and they were saying, you know, the idea that this guy is trans, well, we've had a few now where, what are these chemicals that we are giving these people doing to them? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is actually happening in their heads when it's like, you know, the trans thing, and how is it affecting them? Because these people have got mental health conditions, and we're not necessarily helping them by encouraging them to pretend that they can be the other sex. So that was the big discussion point today. The US political journalist who appeared on Talk TV referred to him as she, and Mike Graham called him out. And do you know what? That also goes to show that there's been a change in the zeitgeist in this country around the trans issue, because not long ago, Mike Graham wouldn't have done that. And that's not to cast aspersions on Mike Graham. I'm talking about everyone. They would have gotten a kind of, they would have had to say, you know, he identifies as a woman, or they would have had to say, you know, he uses she, her pronouns. They would have had to be a lot more civil about it. Whereas today, Mike just screamed, he's got a COCK, right? So that's what happened on Talk TV today. And it's because people are sick of this stuff, right? I don't know if you've ever seen this clip before, Craig. I posted this from years and years ago, right? There was a lot of people at the moment talking about why so many of these migrants and illegal migrants that come here have a view of women that's just so horrible, and the way that, you know, the sexual assault attacks, and people asking why is that so high, considering their cultures are genuinely so conservative, right? And they treat women like, you know, they keep them locked up basically. But the point is, the men, what are the mentality of them? Have you ever seen this clip of Ross Kemp when he went to Africa and he spoke to these guys?
Maybe I did watch a lot of his stuff, so I'm not sure. I may have.
Right. Well, we'll have a watch of it. Okay. This is the attitudes of some Africans, only a minute long, of some Africans when Ross Kemp spoke to them about basically about rape, and it's shocking beyond belief.
Guys, let's go. Some of them, they're not screaming. It's like they wanted to be raped, you see. she also grabs you. She's no
It's
more
like
crying.
she's
like,
enjoying it, you know, even though she isn't, but it's like she's enjoying it.
Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right to rape?
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
What about the consequences of what you're doing in terms of how that affects
Exactly.
the person that's raped?
Yeah, the consequences, we look at that all the time, you know, because it happens, she might scream, you know, people might wake up. A lot of people.
I'm not just talking about, I'm talking about the emotional effect, the physical effect it has on the girl.
Yeah. Sometimes we know that we might rape her and wake up tomorrow with viruses ourselves, like HIV, you know.
What about regretting what you've done to the girl?
I also do regret about it, because if she fell pregnant, what will be that baby's father? Who will be that baby's father?
But what about her personal feelings?
This is the attitude of these people, right? And we've brought in millions into our country.
Yeah, I have seen that before. I remember seeing that because I remember Ross Kemp's face, just like, what? What am I listening to?
These are not normal people. You know, these are barbarians. These are savages, and I don't say that. I don't say that as, you know, savvy or whatever. I'm being truthful. They're from a different planet, man. It's just not correct. This is just a bit of a laugh. I don't know if you want to say this. This is our good friend Diana from a while back. She asked Alexa to translate Keir Starmer, carrot, coffee bean, 100 into Welsh. I don't know if you've heard this before.
Alexa.
No.
Translate Keir Starmer, carrot, coffee bean, 100 into Welsh.
Keir Starmer carrots coffee bean 100 in Welsh is Keir Starmer moron fa coffee cant.
The little things in life, Craig.
Aye.
Anyway, so yes, the mainstream media today, Sky News, claimed that the Minnesota shooter was far right. He wasn't far right. They just go to this as a standard thing. He was massively a radical left. The argument for that was he had on one of his magazines, 6 million wasn't enough or something to do with the Jews, obviously. And many people have pointed out, I don't know if you've noticed lately on the streets of London and other cities around the world, it's not far right people that are out there with Palestine flags. You know, there are plenty of leftists who hate Jewish people as well, unfortunately, now. And yeah, he was a radical leftist. I mean, he had killed Donald Trump on one of them as well, which is horrific. Okay, so 82%.
I don't know how many far right transformers we have.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing right away for me. I thought, how are they going to tell us that this was because it's either an Islamist or a far right, right? They're the only people in the world, you know, that do any bad things. And I was like, who's going to be first to frame this one as far right when it's a transformer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're just like, honest to God, it's just so predictable.
Mental, absolutely mental. 82% of Brits say the UK is in a bad state, and 60% expected to get worse in the next year. Again, just goes to show how no one's happy. I've been saying this for a long time. Not even Labour supporters are happy. They think the government's doing a crap job as well. So if even your own supporters think you're doing a crap job, this is why I'm pretty confident now Keir Starmer will not last out the whole of this Parliament. We might not get rid of the Labour Party, but I think they will try and change the head of the Labour Party at some point. Yeah, bad times ahead. Right, so moving on. Obviously, there was unfortunately another assault, 2 assaults in Newcastle, and migrant again was behind him. Same guy within 15 minutes assaulted 2 women. Absolutely horrific. Black belt barrister has joined Restore Britain on the advisory board. Obviously, Restore Britain have been recruiting a lot of kind of popular social media icons. Obviously, that's the way they see popularising the movement, and good luck to them. 4chan and Kiwi Farms are suing Ofcom. Ofcom are trying to use the Online Safety Act to threaten American companies. I don't know if you've been following this, Craig. Absolutely mental. So obviously, the Online Safety Act has been used to censor so much content in the United Kingdom for British citizens. It's not just pornography, as they originally claimed. It's all sorts of stuff. I mean, on my page, you get censorship of anything to do with any ongoing court cases or any crimes that have been committed. You get censorship for all sorts of stuff. But They've also tried to censor American companies and other companies around the world. Obviously, Twitter is an American company, but it's based in the UK, so it's got bases in the UK. 4chan and Kiwi Farms do not. So they're sat there going, well, we just rule under American law and we're protected by the First Amendment, so you can't sue us. But that hasn't stopped them. So Ofcom have issued a £20,000 fine per day to 4chan. I'm not sure what they've done to Kiwi Farms. So 4chan right now, they're probably around the £100,000 mark, okay? They've just refused, and they've turned around and said, we're not doing this, and we have one set of laws we abide by, and that's because we're based in America. So you can ban us, and that's what they think the government might try and do, is ban British citizens from using these. Obviously, a VPN will get you around it. But the point is, they will say, you can do what you want, but we are not paying a penny. And now they're going to counter-sue. So that'll make it interesting, right? Because would that mean that the government just scraps the Online Safety Act for the time being until they can get it resorted again? I don't know. But, you know, Keir Starmer overstretching again. Yeah, 50% of Reform voters are against Reform's policy to pay the Taliban to take back migrants. Yeah, I mean, obviously controversial, right? So Reform have said that they're going to deport single adult men, no women, no children, no families. So basically, if you're an illegal migrant in this country, you will get, I guess, there'll be women who will be, I guess they'll be even selling, you know, like, listen, you can marry me and we'll pretend we're together, and then you don't get deported, you know, and that's going to become a business under Reform's policy, because unfortunately it's a weak policy, which is what we're getting used to with Reform. They're always kind of, you know, half full, if you like. It never goes off at full cock. So sure enough, the Taliban have said that they'll take their money and we'll take their migrants back, as opposed to just deporting them and saying, we'll get rid of them. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be paying you to send you back, but, you know, pay the migrants to leave. They leave of their own accord, but why we have to pay the Taliban to take them back, I've got no idea. So, sure enough, 50% of Reform voters said they don't want it to happen. Another civil war within Reform. What do you think?
It's just another Reform story, isn't it? They're just chaotic. They are absolutely chaotic. All they had to do was say nothing for 4 or 5 years and they'd be in the next government. But they seem intent and just not reading the room anymore. And this whole thing, right, my toppings was, they told everybody that they were going to bring out a deportation policy after the English local elections, which were 100 and something days ago. You were counting, so it was over 100 days. I know that, right? And it eventually came out on Tuesday. But here's how I describe migration, right? You've got a bathtub. You turn the tap on. That's migration. That's people coming in. And the bathtub gets full. And when you pull the plug out to get some of this bathtub out, that's deportation. But all the things that they told us in this deportation policy were how to stop people coming in. And yeah, they might deport folk that come in illegally, but that's still immigration. That's what you're dealing with, at the front end when they arrive. But it's once they're here and in the system that we need to deport. And I don't know anything that came out apart from they might pay the Taliban to take some, right? So, yeah. That's kind of where I was. So I was completely underwhelmed, but I wasn't expecting to be overwhelmed by the, because I was like, and then the only bit of note in it was we'll put in this thing with the Ascension Islands.
Which is from the SDP.
It was one of the main reasons I joined the SDP over a year ago, because the SDP's immigration policy, not deportation, because this is how you deal with people coming in, right, is if you come here illegally and you want to claim asylum, we will process you, but instead of putting you in a 4 or 5 star hotel, we'll build a centre in Ascension Islands and deal with you there. And Ascension Islands is halfway between the UK and Falklands. It's where our MOD planes land to refuel. We own it, right? So it's like Rwanda, but better, because it's our place. Nobody can say, well, you can't get, you can't be sending them to a third country, a third-party country. It's ours. So that's been a great thing. But then the SDP's slogan is family, community, nation. And Reforms at the last election was family, community, country. They changed one word, right? And they've taken the policy. So I'm like, yeah, well, good for you. So the only good bit of the whole thing that I heard on Tuesday, none of it was original. And none of it was deportation.
Well, to be fair to them, some of it was deportation. So the bit that was deportation was regarding single males. So they've made it clear that they just back in April they said we will deport every single illegal migrant in this country in the first 5 years of a reform government. They've now rolled back on that and they've said we will only be deporting single adult males. Okay, so bearing in mind how many times we've had children. Well, they were not children, were they? They were men pretending to be children. That will become an industry in itself. You've also got the fact that women and children won't be deported, so we will obviously have to still pay for them because they don't contribute to the tax system at all. They just live off benefits in the state, and we still have to take them in. You will see a surge in women and children if they know that they're not going to get deported. You will also see men who will bring women and children with them and team up with them to say we're a family because they're not going to deport families either. So what you're looking at is around, 350,000 to 500,000 tops. Bearing in mind we've got millions and millions of illegal migrants here, but you're not going to get many of them because once again they will abuse the system to stay here. Reform are just not up to the challenge, and I'm sorry to say this because I know a lot of people support reform, and I get it, I do, but they're not good enough. It's just not good enough, and it's not going to get the job done. I don't know why Reform are being so weak on this, but they are.
Yeah, there's a message came in by Snoopies. Reform over the last day have been calling for so-called British Muslims to join Reform. Right now, this reminds me of something that I need to go and look into more. Right, I saw a video about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I don't think it was a new video. And it was Tommy Robinson on a podcast where he claimed that there was a special function for people that were wanting to pay lots of money to do it with Reform. And it was either 25 grand a pop, 250 grand per pop. I can't remember. I would probably guess 25 grand. That sounds more logical. And it was basically for this slap-up meal with all the high regions from Reform. So it was a fundraiser and, get to know you thing. And every member, every person, Tommy claims, that paid the money to Reform for this event was Muslim. Now, did that happen? Or am I having a Mandela effect moment?
Yeah, so what happened is there was a banquet that politicians do this all the time, right? You have to raise money, and what they say is, listen, if you pay top dollar, you can come and have a meal with Nigel Farage. The top table was £25,000 a pop, I believe, and it was all Pakistani Muslims. You've got to bear in mind, Reform have originally going to have Ant Middleton as their London mayoral candidate. They've now kicked out Ant Middleton and they've gone with Layla Cunningham, who herself is a Muslim. Zia Youssef has been appointed from chair to leader of Doge. He's still running the party. If you look at every single press conference they have, he is there, and he is now on the board of Reform as well. Zia Youssef, obviously another Muslim. Andrew Pearce wrote in the Daily Mail, I believe, around the time when Zia Youssef quit, that he wanted to bring in as many Muslims into Reform as possible. The Muslim Bloc vote has picked a new party, and the business class of the Muslim Bloc vote want Reform. So make of that what you will. Yeah. Anyway, next story.
Well, so they're not going to take their coin and no do things that they ask them. That's kind of how politics works.
Yeah, exactly. They say which way the wind is blowing, they want in. Okay, so next story. This is a story from yesterday. A migrant entered a UK primary/nursery school in Glasgow, St Mungo's Catholic school, and he stripped off. And obviously the police arrested him. The school put out a notification to parents saying that this is what happened, and it was a police investigation. They were very, very careful to say, what actually went down. A lot of people on social media obviously said straight away it was a black man who didn't speak very good English and so on, and they were trying to identify who it was. Today, he has been identified. It's this guy. So his name is Nicholas Sams. He is not, as this STV put it, a Glasgow man. Okay, STV described him as local Glasgow man, Nicholas Sams. That is not the case. Unfortunately, he did run into school. Luckily, no children saw him. He was stopped at reception and there he decided to strip off with a full erection, apparently. STV decided he was Sam's from Glasgow. Again, not from Glasgow. He did have a TikTok account, sorry, that's been closed down now. And he threatened the staff and all the rest of it. The police got there, promptly sorted it out, and luckily none of the children apparently saw what went on, which is a thank God moment. But look, it just goes to show, one, how dangerous things are in local areas now, how dangerous it is for kids at school. These incidents will continue while we allow this to happen, and unfortunately they probably will only get worse. So yeah, that was today.
Was that it?
Right. What, sorry?
Is that it? The Home Office photograph, you forgot that.
Oh, no, that's not it. I'm still going. I'm just going on the next project on. The rights of asylum seekers trump the people of Epping, the Home Office argues. So the Home Office, this is the start of this story, today are in court saying that because the Epping protesters got the hotel closed down with the help of the council, and they pressured the council into doing that, the Home Office have taken the council to court. Sounds rather bizarre, right? But obviously this is a legal dispute, so it needs to be dealt with in law, or the Home Office will have to ask to change the law. But basically they've said the rights of asylum seekers trump the people of Epping. Now imagine that. I mean, this is treason, right? The government is saying the rights of people who aren't from this country trump the people of this country in this country. That goes to show you how much our government despise all of us. If I go to the rest of this story, which is what I said here, so if you're wondering why the UK Home Office is arguing that the rights of illegal migrants trump those of British citizens, just remember, this is the Home Office. So obviously this is not the entire Home Office, but the Home Office, I think it was 2 years ago, were asked to put out a photograph showing their staff members, and this is what they put out. So this is how the Home Office sees itself. So you can imagine, I mean, we've heard obviously from people like Calvin Robinson and a few others who've said that the Home Office has been infiltrated by Muslim bloc groups, been infiltrated by massive pro-migrant legal structures, and sure enough, that's why we are where we are. Basically, the people in charge of us are betraying us. And that's the way you can describe it. That's not necessarily Labour people. These people aren't necessarily political. They just work there, and they've been allowed to work there, and no one sacks them. So, yeah. What do you think of that, Craig?
Well, somebody's just put in there, no chance. My son goes to a special education base, and it's strange. In the last year, they have replaced the mesh fence for a big tall wooden fence, so you cannot see the playground.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? And I would imagine putting a full height fence made of wood would be more expensive than replacing a bit of mesh, which was probably about 3-4 feet off the ground. And then Angela saying, "Aye, see, going back to the Glasgow thing, mate. I got some people contact me early doors with that story, right? And I said, look, I get accused all the time of rabble rousing. So what I'm trying to do now is, when I've got a local news story like that, is get somebody to come on that's local and tell the story. So it's, there's a person there. They live there. Their kid goes to school. Their nephew goes to school. They're whatever, right? And it's them that's telling the story. And I think it'll give stories more gravitas. And tomorrow, hopefully, if my day goes to plan, I'll have 2 local stories where I'll have the people involved sitting in front of camera telling us their stories. I kind of think that's the way I want to go forward. But I had a lot of the stuff in this school thing, but nobody was wanting to come on and talk about it. And I thought, and by the time I was confident that the stuff was all legit, because listen, there are people out to get me. And it happened to me before when I was campaigning. Folk used to deliberately give you false stuff. Well, you would put it out and then you could be ridiculed. So I've always got to be very, very wary. And I think even when I am positive the stories are right, if we get somebody that's close to it, or even from at least the region, the area, then I think it would be far better. And thank you very much, Malarkey. And John's donated a membership to the channel to someone. And Malarkey, it is time to abandon the democratic process and adopt a more persuasive approach. kind of can read between the lines what you're suggesting there, Malarkey. And my fear is that if people have some hope that they've been listened to and there's some light at the end of the tunnel, then they may protest, they may take to social media and show how discontented they are with things. But when you get to a point where you don't think there's any hope because you can't see any results, there's no positives coming, that's when people can change tack a bit. And what I will say is, despite this appeal happening, there's been 2 massive victories for people that believe in common sense and logic recently. And I believe that they were both from due to public pressure. And one of them is Epping, regardless of, it's went to an appeal, but, it's a victory nonetheless at this point. And the other one was the Supreme Court ruling where a group of women from Scotland, Women Won't Waste, took the Scottish government nonetheless all the way to the highest court of the land to basically prove a man's a man and a woman's a woman. And we should believe in biology. So these were things that were done in positives, from the public taking to the streets. So yeah, I understand what you're saying there. Is it time to abandon the democratic process? Well, it's kind of that or anarchy. So I kind of think we continue doing what we're doing, and I see the whole game changing. By the way, I mean, the last 8 weeks, I've been to Peterhead, Aberdeen, Perth, Stirling, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Ballymena over Northern Ireland, Manchester, London, Dover in the United Kingdom. I've travelled to Calais, and I had a holiday that I'm not counting because I wasn't working in that and talking to people. But I also went on a non-holiday to Lesbos in Greece to see the migration issues. And even the people in Greece, the people in France, and every part of the UK that I've visited, people are concerned about the same things. And it's mad that we all kind of concern ourselves about it. Unless you're a mad lefty, you've got these concerns. So, yeah, that's where we're up to. And hopefully it doesn't lead to more persuasive approach, as you've said there, Malarkey, and thank you very much. Anybody that puts money in through stickers and memberships and stuff, that buys equipment for me. And I've just ordered new mics because this one's been doing nothing. And I've got another drone, so we'll have 2 drones soon, and there's a reason for that. But that's where your money. So thank you very much for that, Malarkey. And people that put into the buy me a coffee, that pays for my trips. And I've already got about 400 or 500 quid in the kitty because the money from the Lesbos trip is actually blew it at the park, and I've got excess in there, and I'm planning more trips soon. So stay tuned, and thank you very much for your support. So, where are we up to, Basil? With the news?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there was a few more stories of young girls who've been raped across the UK by migrants, more nasty things. There was a final story, though, that was before we wrap up, because unfortunately, I was blown over quickly. They're eating the dogs. Obviously, if you remember, Trump got a lot of stick at the time for saying that illegal migrants were eating the cats and they were eating the dogs. And sure enough, in Italy today, there's been a story, an African migrant who was awaiting deportation. So you've got to remember that, right? When you're considering who you're voting for and you're thinking who's got the best anti-migration plan, remember, who's going to round these people up and put them in camps? Because if they're awaiting deportation, they got nothing to lose. They know they're going. So he was awaiting deportation, and he's been stealing the pets of locals, and 2 dogs were stolen and eaten, one of them tortured with boiling oil, and one of the dogs was named Merlin. This was Merlin here. This happened in Italy. The local mayor said, as an administration, we reiterate that we have done everything in our power and will continue to monitor the matter closely so that all necessary measures are undertaken, including the deportation procedure against the individual. They've been living free and looked after with love from the neighbourhood for years. This was one of the dogs that he got. As citizens and as animal lovers, we will not remain silent. We will formalise a regular complaint to the competent authorities, asking for justice for Merlin and safety for all. Again, you've just got to remember that these people, a lot of them, and I don't say this lightly, are savages, and they do not belong in civilised society. So please make sure when it comes to election day, you vote for somebody who will deport them all, not some of them, all of them, and get them out. And that's the end of my timeline for today, mate. You still there, Dave? Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it for today.
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear?
Yeah,
That's a bit disappointing.
What, you thought there was more? It's bang on 8 o'clock, mate.
Anyway, that's only you never even done an hour. Somebody was asking me to buy my coffees. I've put the link in there. It's in the description as well for anybody that's why I do that. That was a bit disappointing, Basil. That was not even an hour you done there.
Was it not? What time did we start? Oh, it's like 55 minutes or so, right? Okay, never mind. Well, if you want, do you know what I can talk about if you'd like? I can talk about reform. I can talk about the state of them if you want. Am I allowed to talk about reform on this channel?
Listen, I get a bit bored with it, right? I do. I was kind of ahead of the game with reform. I sort of banned the notion of voting, joining, or even asking to be a candidate, which that's where I was kind of my head was. Around about June last year. But by the time we got to July, I had no for me. But I must admit, and that was purely about Scotland. But at that point, I was like I kind of hope they do all right in the rest of the UK. But since then, I've just went, they're just mental. So, they sort of pissed up the leg of Scottish Unionists in the run up to the election. And now they're kind of pissed off anybody that actually pays attention, because they're not what it's like Cooper and all. They're not what they say in the tin. And the amount, if reform were as good as the perception of reform, if you ask somebody who's not as politically aware as us, right, doesn't talk about politics far too much, right? What do you think reform stand for? They would come out with a pile of stuff over here, but the reality is this, no, none of that, right?
Yeah.
So the perception of reform is fantastic. The reality of reform, not so. And they're really disappointing. Saying that, if there was an election tomorrow, they would have a real good chance of winning. And out of the three parties that could possibly win right now, I think I struggle to say they're the best of them. I think I would safer to say the least worst of them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see them.
Well, with me, I'm not happy about how right I've been about reform. I predicted there'd be a massive letdown because I knew some of the people who were inside and what they were doing, and the fact that money was being changed hands to get positions, not people with good ideas. And so I knew when Zia Youssef put down his, Mohammed Zia Youssef, that is, put down his £200,000 bid to get into the party, and he got promoted right to the top as a result. That doesn't sit well with me. So when I look at reform, for instance, Nigel Farage has asked, do you want to ban halal slaughter? Oh, no, I don't. What do you think about Islam in the United Kingdom? It needs to be accommodated. What we're going to do about illegal immigration? I mean, you've got to remember, this is a guy who turned around on camera and said that the deportation of millions is a political impossibility. And he reiterated that the other day in his press conference. He said, we're looking at thousands, not millions. Well, I'm sorry. There are millions that need to go, okay? And you cannot justify keeping some of them. I mean, for a man who talks about two-tier policing and the two-tier legal structure, you're going to create two-tier illegal immigration by saying some of them can stay and some of them have to go. No, they are illegal immigrants. They shouldn't be here and they need to go. So when Nigel Farage says that, I get really disappointed, because I'm sat there thinking, I'm hoping that this guy's going to save this country, and he isn't going to do it. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Now, look, I read the deportation policy. It's officially 6 pages long, but 2.5 pages of that are just colours and graphics and stuff. It actually turns out it's 3.5 pages long. That is not a real policy. Bearing in mind, they promised us this back in April, and we've been waiting months and months and months, 4 months, till we got this policy. And we think, wow, this should be really good by the time it comes out, because at the end of the day, this is reform, right? This is their bread and butter. Deportation should be what they're known for. And it's 3.5 pages long, which goes to show there's not really any big thinkers behind the scenes. They haven't got any real talent there who are doing the work. It's very, very disappointing to see that. So, yeah, I was underwhelmed by it. But you know what? I'm used to being let down by reform now, unfortunately, and it will continue because this is just who they are. So whether it be, letting men in women's prisons, which he said recently, and their justice advisor believes in, or not deporting single adult males, which again is not good enough. That's what they want to do. It's again not going to get the job done. Or whether it be the fact that they put Scottish nationalists in a unionist party, prominent positions, and you sit there and go, well, why? They've already got the SNP and all, but why do they need to have reform as well? It doesn't make any sense to me, and the way they treat Rupert Lowe and they try to get him arrested for something he didn't do, and it goes on and on and on and on. And by the way, if anyone gets a chance, I was going to say, if anyone gets a chance to listen to Ben Habib's. Yeah, listen to Ben Habib's podcast he did with Liam Tufts. He goes through all of this stuff and exactly why Nigel is the way he is, and you might get a good idea.
Is Ben Habib quite a good podcast guest?
Well, yes, he is a great guest. You should get him on your show, Craig. It'd be great for you.
Yeah, maybe try that. Right, here's a story that I done today. I actually meant to do it last night, but I ran out of time because I had to go to Perth, or it would have been out last night, so I put it out this afternoon. Co-op Palestine beer made in Scotland, I kid you not. Did you hear about this?
I didn't know it was made in Scotland, but I heard about it.
Classic, right? So the way it's been sold is, the Co-op's now buying this. They're one customer, right? They're not their sole customer. But this poor wee company in Palestine, their business is getting killed because the bad Israelis won't let them get their product out of Palestine. So this knight in shining armour of a Glasgow brewery are going to take the recipe, brew it, and sell it. And Co-op have agreed to put it in over 1,000 other shops, right? And it's going to be a non-profit make. It's a not-for-profit business, right? That they've set up to do this. And then what they're going to do is they're going to feed the starving in Gaza with the profits, right? And I went, what a lot of shite, right? Because there's so many ways you can build this, right? Not for profit doesn't mean you can't get paid. There's this thing that is, oh, that's a really good thing and nobody's taking a wage and all that bollocks, right? So plan A is what you could do is, so you've got this brewer, microbrewery, and it turns out it's in the West Bank, right? And the woman's a Christian. So it's no, she's no dodging bombs in Gaza. So that microbrewery own the rights to their product, the recipe and the image of it, right? So the first one you could do is you set this non-profit thing here, and she charges them fortunes to use the brand and the recipe. And then you can do one of two things. You can then sell those rights to the brewery in Scotland, who then are free to sell their product wherever they want and make as much money as they want, right? And by the way, I'm all for free markets. I think this stuff's all right. But when you try to spin it as something else, I go, bollocks, right? Well, the other thing you could do is the not-for-profit bit in the middle here, which will have shareholders and people working there that will be able to take money out before they, so they might have no profit, right? They could get the brewer in Scotland to brew it, package it, sell it back to them, and they sell it to the Co-op. So they either sell it to the Co-op or Scotland sells it to the Co-op. And the microbrewery in West Bank, who aren't getting bombed, by the way. And I don't think there's any mass, like, you're not getting products out of here going on, right? We'll be making fortunes. And I think what's happened here is this microbrewery that's got this Palestinian beer is thought for 2 years. Because what happened, the guy in Glasgow said he read something in some trade magazine about how terrible and difficult it was for them to get their products out and thought he would like to help them. So I think what's happened here is this businesswoman, the Christian woman from West Bank, has went, we're missing out on a great opportunity here because all these mad lefties all over Europe would actually eat this, take loads of this beer, regardless. And I can't get as much out as I would like to. And all she's basically done is a licensing deal, which is done in business all the time. But the way the story's portrayed in the vast majority of papers that have covered it is, it's this, terrible wee people, and it's, can't get the products out, and they can't do that. And you're going, bollocks. Total bollocks. But I'm quite sure we've got enough lefties here that the Glasgow Brewer will make a right few quid. But that's fine, you know, you need to make profit as a business. The Palestine West Bank woman, who will not be even brewing it anymore, she's just licensed it out to them, she'll make fortunes, and the non-profit in the middle will probably not make much at all, and they'll give 2 bob to somebody somewhere, and it's just a pure scam. And that was like a 10-minute video done in 2 minutes here. But you had to hear about this story, Basil. You just didn't.
I heard about the story. I didn't know it was in Scotland, though. I just knew that the Co-op had banned Israeli products and was stocking this new Palestinian product. Yeah, I mean, look, I just find the Palestine Eustace rotten to the.
Is that the best you can do, Jock? I'm actually disappointed. If that's the best I'm going to get, people try to have a pop at me the night. It's quite a boring night.
Do you know who I thought it was?
Jockamola. Get some better than that.
Mate, do you know who on Twitter who has that little J as their little logo? Jaglis. I thought it was there first.
Jaglis has the little. I can guarantee that's not Jaglis, right? I'm quite happy to accept that.
Yeah, that's her logo. Yeah. Anyway, there's another story I just broke, Greg. I don't know if you've seen it, but you know, Scottish Labour MSP Colin Smith, he got suspended last week. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Aye, well, apparently he got suspended because he put a secret camera in the Parliament's toilet. In Holyrood's toilet. So when you get to Holyrood next year, mate, you'll have to just check before you use the box to make sure no Labour Party politicians are spying on you.
No, Macduff, I'm going to keep dropping all in just to give him. I'm going to give him one more chance to come up with better patter than that, right? Because that's never been to Houston. I used to live in Houston, a town in Renfrewshire. Went to school in it when I was a secondary school, and then I lived in it about 10 or 11 years ago for about 6 or 7 years, which is quite funny. Do you know what you don't do when you're in Houston and you want to get a taxi or anywhere near Houston? You don't. Back in the days before we had like maps for it, and we used to go to a pub. Before Paisley was our local haunt for a night out, so we'd go to the local pubs first, get tanked up, then phone taxis to go to Paisley, and we'd just done it in a rota. So it was my shot every 3 or 4, well, no 3 or 4 weeks because we're going out 2 and 3 times a week, but you know what I mean. And I'd go out the pub. You used to have the phone in the reception, and you'd go out and the free phone to the taxi, and we'll be there in 10 minutes. Phone down, come back, no taxi. So this would go on for like a long time. I'd be phoning. A taxi came. I've not been in the taxi. I then figured it out because one week I was like, right, I'm going to phone the taxi and no go back into the bar. I'm going to phone the taxi and stand outside. And then when the taxi comes, go and tell my mates, that's your taxi, right? Because I was getting fed up with this routine. The rest of the boys had taxis, no problem. But when it was my turn, we just had grief. So I'm standing outside waiting for my taxi. And there's loads of people waiting for taxis. And the taxi turns up. And the taxi opens up his window and shouts, taxi for Houston. And half the people put their hand up and say, I'm going to Houston, and jumped in the taxi. So if your name's Houston and you want a taxi to Houston, don't give them your own name because you wait forever for them. I thought that was funny.
I thought it was funny as well, mate. Sorry, you can't hear me chuckling away. I was on mute. Right. Anyway, mate, I'm gonna have to scoot because it's getting a bit late now for me, so I'm gonna have to go and do other things. But thank you very much for having us on, mate. I really appreciate it.
Cheery bye now. Thank you for
cheery bye now. Cheery bye now.
Do that again. Just go through your timeline because it's.
Why don't you just get other Twitter people on and go through their timelines?
Like music for that, maybe.
Right, cheery bye now.
What, like Giacomo? He's gone. That was rapid. So we've got DGR in as well, and nobody's come up yet, right, to actually do the whole point of the show, and that is to come in and talk, right? So I'm going to like that. I thought I had this in. I'm going to share. And this, I get this trailer saved on my laptop so I can do this a lot easier. But before we talk to DGR, I'm going to do that, do that. And please listen to this carefully. Hi there, welcome to a new concept for the channel where you, the viewer, gets to come onto the show and tell me, Houston, we have a problem. I want to hear from you, your community, and the issues you have with the United Kingdom currently. And the only thing I ask you to do is start a conversation with Houston we problem. When you see the description on YouTube, all you have to do is scroll down the description, click on that link, it'll bring you straight into the studio. From there, I'll invite you up, and you start the conversation with Houston we have a problem. We'll see what we can do to help you, your community, your problems going forward. You never know, it might be my next journey, planting bread to the UK, to come to your community and cover your issues. So get involved. Houston, we have a problem. So that's the whole point of the show. It's to get you guys to come in, have your say, tell us what your problems are and have a chat. But it's not doing that now. So please just come up. If you're in YouTube, go into the description. There's a link there. If you're watching on X Twitter, if you look at the title of the live, there's a bit up there. And come in and tell us what you're... That was the whole point of doing these shows. So what I was conscious of was the last few, the ones that I've done, there's been like 8 or 9 years in, and it's all been pals of mine. We've all been talking about protests and stuff. And I kind of thought, well, nobody's going to come in and talk because they go, the room's full, and I'm not part of them. And, oh, Jockamola, come on, I gave you a tight chance to redeem yourself, and that's it. Blake it. Wow. Give us something. I'm going to give you a third chance, right? And I'll look out for your next message. So please just do a wee bit better than that. So, dear,
cut out there.
What, mate?
I think your audio cut out a bit there.
Mine did it?
Aye, bit jumpy.
It's all shown. It's probably because of that video showing in the background and my computer's just having a go slow. I think once we're off air, I'll get you to talk me through what you were trying to talk me through 20 seconds before we went on.
Aye. Might be needing a new laptop.
We've got a caller.
Oh, one finally.
You've got a caller. Aye. And it's somebody that's been in before.
Aye.
Bobby.
I gave you a tight chance to redeem yourself, and that's it. Wake it.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you because it's just getting... Bobby, you've got us playing in the background, so I don't know if you're looking in the same device. If you're not watching in the same device, go and turn off the device that you're watching on. If you are using the same device to call in and watch, you need to just go and log out whatever it is you're watching is on. If you've got your YouTube app opened and now StreamYard, you need to block out your YouTube, or it's just it becomes...
Telly's off.
To hear you. Telly's off. Bobby's in
Telly's
the room.
off.
How are you, buddy?
Bobby's in the room. Not too bad. How's yourself? Houston, we have a problem.
I have it. Love it. Yeah.
Well, it's actually more the Irish have got a problem than we've got. It was something that kind of came across for me in a conversation. What was the name of that guy that used to be the Taoiseach over there? Leo somebody. Anyway.
Leo Ben Hacker or something. You sounded like a Dutch football manager.
He signed an agreement called the 2040 Agreement, Ireland, with Europe. And Europe spent 197 billion euros upgrading the infrastructure in Ireland. Did you know about this?
Mm-hmm. No.
You didn't know about it. Fine. So what the Europeans basically did was went to a lot of the little towns around Ireland and they pretty much doubled the infrastructure. Doubled the schools, doubled the hospitals, built new roads, built new houses. Some of the houses are still lying empty. And one of the curious things was I heard one day an Irish reporter talking about the subject and saying, did we not realise that we agreed that by 2040, if we haven't increased our population in Ireland to something approaching 5 million, now, I've only got about 3.5 million just now. that then the European Union could use the things that it built for its own purposes. You can guess what that is. And actually, in the 2040 agreement, I read all the way to the bottom once, and it basically implied that they'd already decided that it would be sub-Saharan Africans that would be coming across to make up the numbers.
Incredible, eh?
And this was done pre us leaving Europe. And the curious link for me is the fact that when we left Europe, we had all those arguments and fusses and discussions about the border between Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. And people were saying, you know, oh, you can't have a hard border and you can't do this and you can't do that. And I remember sitting thinking, is it just me being naive? We've had a border there for how bloody long? And it's never been a huge problem. It's just operated the way it operates. Then
yeah,
one and one.
Thinking of these two things, yeah.
And I'm seeing them totally linked now, because if you flood Ireland with 1.5 million coloured immigrants, I've got a funny feeling the Irish won't be very happy.
No,
but what can the Irish do about it?
Yeah, what they've been doing is quite strong and stern. You know, they've been very active.
So the question then is, why were the Europeans, when we said Brexit, so goddamn upset about that bloody wee tiny bit of border? And it's obvious when we think about it now. We said Brexit, they don't like it. They want to flood us with migrants. They're trying to do it through France just now. But if they can put 1 million of them getting chased by the Irish up over that border, as soon as they cross that border, whose problem did it become? Ours. And our government's that bloody weak and stupid that would go, oh, we need to help them all.
Well, here's something that I thought about. Right, I kind of know how migrants get into the UK because I went and seen it for myself. I went to Dover, I went to Calais, seen it, was on the ferries, seen some really odd things in the ferries, right? But how did they get into Ireland illegally?
They'll be coming over this. They'll be coming over the same way. Some of them will be getting flown. Some of them will be getting transferred over by boats and coming in on ferries and God knows what. And the reality check is, carry on.
Well, that's my whole point, because I've stood on the cliffs of Dover overlooking the hidden port where they bring in the border force ones that were rescued for the sea.
Do you make it sound so nefarious? The hidden port, it's not that they're trying to stop people seeing it.
It is. No, I was literally, if you hear to that wall away from it, talking to a guy that worked there. And I went, the lifeboats, they're not picking people up anymore, because my first stop was, I went down about 7:30 in the morning, I'll go down, I'll get some footage of lifeboats heading out, right? And I was like, there's a couple of 3 lifeboats here, so if I missed them, then I sort of seen the staff car park wasn't even opened yet, so the lifeboats hadn't left, because like there was no stuff there yet. I was actually parked in the lifeboat car park for the staff. So I went to ask this guy and said, look, where can I park? I want to be here for a couple of hours. And he slapped me up to, and I told him, and he went, no, the lifeboats don't bring them in anymore. Border Force do. And I went, all right, and where do they come in? He's like, there. It's like, it looked like a Hessian fence, the metal fence with the coverings. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I built a new port there. So there's 3 ports now. You've got the one here for the ferries, you've got the one here that's the marina, and the lifeboats got a station there. And then this third one, it's just for border force, right? Right. So I went up and he went, and by the way, see the boys up that cliff there? Overlooking, there's like 3 big turrets that were built in the Napoleonic Wars to protect the harbour. But during World War II, they were sort of made fancier and concrete and stuff. It's like, I can't park up there. And there's guys up there, they've got binoculars and that, and they can see it. It's a great vantage point. So I went up there. I went talking to these guys, and they count, they've got real zoom lenses and binoculars and stuff, and they count them coming in. Their figures, and the figures that our government release, like 48 hours later, are always almost identical. There might be 2 or 3 of a variant, right? So we believe as British people that whatever the number is, and GB News put it out every day, right? So it's like 997 today, right? And we go, God, there's another 997 migrants. Well, that's not That is the amount that's came through that one point, that bit there, where we've picked them up off the channel. So I'm standing there, right, and when the penny dropped, I said to the guy, I went, so your figures are just figures that we all think's total migration? And he went, aye. And I said, so over here where the ferry port is, before COVID, we used to always see stories about stowaways on there. He went, uh-huh. I went, is that stopped? He went, no, that's not stopped. So we've got a number there, we've got a number here. I said, you know, like down the coast here, Blythe and stuff, where I'd stayed that night. I went, do they not have anybody landing anymore? He's like, no. When they come over, the ones that come over at night, if it's calm enough, they just land in the beaches. So we've got all these ones that we don't count, right? Because we're only counting the ones aboard the first. So it's like, then you've got the ones that come over on the plane and just forget to go home, right? So the fact that Ireland has got a migration problem and they don't have any boats going for Calais over there, then that tells you you know that there's all these. Aye. And the other thing that I just found out today, because I have this argument with people that say there's no such thing as an illegal. It's like, well, yeah, because if you set foot in the UK illegally, you know, by not a controlled border crossing, then it's not legal. So you're therefore illegal. However, on a technicality, I am wrong. Because here's how the maritime law sees it. If you're in a boat in distress and you get rescued from the sea and brought in here without a passport, you're not breaking the law. So when we go, and I can't figure out why we go out and so when we go out and lift them in the middle of the channel, we're only doing that and we term it as a safety issue. So that's a boat in distress. We're lifting you at the sea. We're plonking you, and you can't come in without a passport because you're not illegal. You've been in a boat in distress and we've brought you in. And the legality now is that if that is the way you've come into your country, you can't apply for asylum, because normally you need to go to a border control. You need to present yourself at an airport or wherever and go, I seek asylum. And that, my friend, they take the piss right out of us. And that's how they keep the whole thing legal. And it's a proper con.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm quite conscious of the fact that a few of the people that I know that are Irish don't understand what Leo Varadkar, I think his name was, signed them up for with the Europe 2040 agreement for Ireland. And I'm quite certain in my own head that there's going to come a shock. They think they've got problems just now, but they haven't got any clue what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got a huge problem coming their way. And
we've all got that, mate. We've all got it coming. What I saw in Calais frightened the life out of me, mate, because it just, you know, I was just like, shit. And then I was talking to a copper the day I arrived in Calais. I stayed 2 nights in Calais. It was at least 2 days. I can't remember if I stayed, no, because late on the last night I came back to the ferry, so I'm there for 2 full days. The first thing I done was I went to this wee village just to like run about the coast and get bearings. And I saw a group of asylum seekers in a bus stop and coppers, like watching them. So I went up to the cops. I said, are you protecting them or are you protecting the locals? He's like, well, both. And then he asked what I was doing and whatever, and I told him. And I said, so if I'm looking for points of people leaving, where would I look? And he's like, you get map on your phone? Aye. So down the coast, we were west of Cavan. And then further sort of west, the coast starts moving south a wee bit. There's a town, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Bologna, like Bologna, but with an extra U in it, and that's obviously Italian, so it's Bologna, I think. He's like, anywhere from there, all the way up to just past Dunkirk. And I was going to Dunkirk, my first bit, my big zone, Dunkirk. That was 45 mile by road, mate, those 2 points, right? But as it goes probably 50, 55 mile. And you're like, so anywhere? They went, oh, anywhere. So then when you start seeing the camps and people, you go, this number's nuts. This is bonkers. There's thousands of them, if not tens of thousands of them, right? We're only hearing there's 500 a day, right? And then I thought, well, how are they getting into Europe? And I went out to Lesbos and I saw firsthand what happens when we come in. And I spoke to folk that were in the camp that were claiming asylum. And it's just go, what? And the wee guy, he was for Cameroon, he's trying to get to Luxembourg because he's got mates there. But he wasn't asylum seeker. He just didn't want to be in Cameroon anymore, but he's playing the system. And he wants to go to Luxembourg, so he probably wouldn't qualify for normal migration there. And you just go, many folks in here, mate, it's like about 3,000 in the camp. Many of them want to come to Britain. It's like about 70 to 80%. Right? And you're like, oh my God. In the UN, I've got funding for 5 camps, mega camps are building, 4 on the Greek islands and 1 in the Greek mainland.
Yeah, I'm a sad individual. I've been watching all your shows. So I've got all these figures in the back of my head. No.
So they're all just going to get filled, mate. So it's a scam, and it ain't getting any better anytime soon, I'm afraid. We need to stop our bit. That's what we need to do. Because all these European countries, even Ireland, right? If they get the 1.5 million, whatever, and they ended up with a closed border between Northern Ireland and the Republic, then that's another. You'd be quite happy for them to have no border there. So they just go, it's great up there, off you pop. See, you get there, you can go to London, right? So we need to find ways of folks saying, no, that's no for us anymore. Do you know what I mean? The whole thing's farcical, mate. And it's just a scam. That's all it is. Proper scam.
Very similar to what you saw the Democrats doing in America, bringing all these migrants in by plane and flying them across into various states to try and change the population demographics. And people think that's a crazy thing. Do you understand the number of bloody migrants you'd have to bring across to change the demographics of a state in America? And the reality check is, yeah, but they were bringing them over and in those sort of numbers. It's not, maybe they could have done it. They were doing it. Here's an interesting one. I was talking to someone that works in our water industry, and I asked a question about when you look at the records you've got for the amount of waste product, human waste product that gets filtered through your water processing plants. Have you seen any increase in the numbers? What do you mean? I said, well, can you see an increase that's unaccounted for in it? Oh, you mean the 1 million extra people that are here that aren't registered and we don't know about? And that's the scary thing. That's just people doing jobbies and floating them down the water. They're seeing. No, that was across the UK.
Right. No, it's worse than that.
Certainly
there was fees done about 10 years ago by Thames Water. Similar idea. They're like, we've got too much shite, right? And their figures were even worse than that, just for London alone. And then you've got the figures from, I think it was a woman that was on a lot of Basel Spaces, YC. She does a podcast with her called It's Only Politics. Very clever woman. She's retired now, but she was like CEO level, big company. And human resources. And she was telling us when she was dealing with like the Sainsbury's of the world and all that, there was figures they done, and it was they reckoned almost 10 million more people than we had a note of going by the consumption of food. Now I know we waste food, we're terrible for that, but they make allowances for that. And they were saying for the amount of food that we have, less of waste, that should feed about 10 million people more than we have in the UK.
So we're looking at a population in the UK of 80 million plus.
That was the figures, aye.
And I mean, most of us, bless our little cotton socks, we're totally ignorant of this. And it never occurs to us that this could possibly be happening in our country, because we seem to have we've been brought up with the bullshit to basically believe we're a good, honest country. And unfortunately, the people that are running us just now haven't got the word honesty in their footlockers. They're unbelievable. They're the most heinous, lying, devious gits.
Do you know the crazy thing is, right? Do you know how sometimes you get the demographic figures and it tells you how the consistency of our nation, nationalities and creeds and all that stuff, colours and ethnicities and stuff, and you go, is that it? There's only 6% of the population are Muslim descendants. You go, that doesn't sound right. And then you find out, well, there's maybe 10 million that we don't count. then that's why the figures are skewed. The figures for a long time have not made sense to me. Do you know what I mean? That's just mental. As everyone's saying, I've been talking about the sewerage problem for years. New builds, but no true increase in sewerage plants with food consumption on food. It's 83 million. Oh no, it's happened. The tone of the programme, the show, whatever you want to call it, is just about to change. Hello, Denzel.
I tell you, but that's some introduction, that one, Chief. You know what I mean? I came up because you looked a lonely and desolate figure.
Okay, pals here. Right, Bobby's in the room. Bobby's come in a few times.
Oh,
now.
so he is.
Young
Bobby,
DGR, we were talking about you before we went live.
I mean, I'm not a great
to
football,
save the day.
but I was just wondering whether Kevin the Ranter might be mentioning a certain football result to you.
No, I'm going to refrain from that one, right, Bobby?
Bobby, he was doing it while the game was playing, right? So don't fall for his nonsense, right? Aye, it's all for him. If you can't have a slaughter with your pals when you have a shite result.
I'm the one in pain right now. Red card, 1-0 down.
Is this first leg or the second leg you're playing?
Second leg.
What was the first leg score?
2-2. I think. Could be wrong.
Oh, how long to go, DJR? I can't believe I'm doing a podcast with another team fan and a Celtic fan.
I know.
What, mate?
No, I'm a Chelsea fan.
You're a Chelsea fan, but that's not loud.
You sure it's not Manchester United?
I have to say to DJR Media, that's some bit of kit, by the way, sir. Thanks very much for that.
I told you it's worth it, like, you know.
No, I appreciate that, mate. Absolutely. I was on the phone with Craig, and Craig was he put his camera on and I could see him drilling at the side of his mouth with that camera, do you know what I mean?
Here, Tom, I've got another one for sale if he's looking for one.
No, I've ordered another mic. I'm waiting for another drone to arrive. I've spent a right few $100 in the last week alone, so no, I need to.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've spent a lot this month.
Now, Craig was showing me how to put my microphones into it, and I need to go get the SD card, which I'll pick up tomorrow, and then my plan is to start going into these hotels with that camera and just walking straight into the hotels as opposed to filming outside them.
Aye, is the chest mount any use to you?
Aye, the two of them are used to me. But two of my pals are going to come with me. Two of my pals watch Big Houstie's live shows all the time, so they was probably in there listening. And I'm not even going to bother him. I'm just going to go walking straight into these places and start filming what's actually going inside these hotels.
I know. I couldn't get used to it. It just kept digging into my chest, and I was told about the DJI one. And it's honestly, you can't even feel it's there, to be honest with you. It's incredible, that one.
I might need to obviously be in touch with you with some advice, but Craig's been good with me talking about it today and that as well, so just need to get used to it. But no, cheers for that, mate. What a piece of kit.
But I told, if you watch the videos, like the mics, that's the mic from just the camera. I didn't use any external mic at all. It was all from that camera.
That's a belter.
So the next show is we're going to have an IT help desk, right? Phone in me your problems with IT.
How much am I getting?
You better know as base Patriot for it to be the IT help desk for that one. Do you know what I mean? He can't get his mic up when he comes on your show.
There's another crackpot that helped you with the IT stuff, Martian. He's a clever boy with all that stuff.
He is clever with that, right?
It was just so people know what we're talking about. Kevin started a couple of months ago going out and about, and he's just filming his phone, migrating hotels and snooping about to try and get some intel on them. In the last couple of weeks, he's bought a drone and now a body cam. So I've been telling him, just get yourself started on a YouTube channel, get it smashed out there, you know. Because you know the boy AY Audits, Kev, that goes in. He was
aye.
Done a podcast with him last week, the week before, and he's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, right? and I said, "What? How long have you been doing it?" It's like 7 months. Like, what? 7 months, he said, his channel, and he is smashing it because
Well, I
there's
mean,
loads of people.
I got the drone because there's a place I'm keeping a very close eye on. There's a hotel that's owned by a person in Scotland and has now bought a building somewhere and has got planning permission to turn it into an HMO. And he actually, sorry?
He denies it.
Aye. And plus it's right out. Here's the disturbing thing though, Craig. To get to it, you need to, when you go up, it goes to a dead end, but it's actually situated right next to a nursery school.
Mm-hmm. Is it? And it's
right.
in, right. I looked into this. The company, I can't remember the name of the company, but it's a British name, right?
Aye.
And they own see the hotel at Falkirk that's been getting
That's
protests.
one I made. Aye.
What's the name of it?
Clad.
Right. So that hotel was in the paper about 2017 to 19 time, and the new owner who just bought it, who still owns it, said it's terrible. It's not a very good place for hotels, it's Falkirk. So we're going to probably demolish it and try and build flats or something. Then suddenly gets a contract with the Home Office and doesn't demolish it, right? So this is a guy that a few years ago was telling us there's no need for bedrooms, for hotel rooms in Falkirk. Has now bought an office building in a business park just outside Falkirk, which is telling folk he's building another hotel for an area that he's told us a few years ago, you don't need any more hotel rooms, right? And this hotel's quite weird because this hotel doesn't have a swimming pool, for example, which you don't need now. You know, not every hotel has need for that, but it's one thing that's missing from the plans, which is pretty strange for a hotel. It's got no restaurant and no bar, right? It's got a kitchen with a sort of dining room. No bar, no restaurant area. And he's telling folk, no, that's not going to be for asylum seekers, right? And you think, going to just stop talking shite because you've already told us that there's no point in having hotels in Falkirk because there is no need for hotels in Falkirk. And now you're building another one and telling us it's a hotel. It's just
another thing, Craig. Do you know? I really hope and pray the likes of John Swinney, Maggie Chapman, the Wishart, all these lunatics that turn up to these hotels on a weekend basis or a weekly basis to stand against the people that are concerned. Watch that video that you put out today with that old boy Johnny. And I'm actually struggling here to even say it as well because that has got to be one of the worst videos that I've seen yet. That was heartbreaking. A 93-year-old man, 35 years service he's given to this country, and he gets absolutely nothing. Absolutely, mate. And honestly, I genuinely hope that someday
challenge.
I hope somebody, right, has the morals and the big accounts on our platform that we use regularly. I hope somebody starts up a GoFundMe page for that man. Because you know what? If there's anybody that deserves something, it's him. That was harrowing. I mean, it just
don't worry about that too much.
Right, okay, mate. I mean, honestly, I watched that video. I watched your 10-minute moan twice on that one, and I'm not even ashamed to admit it. I was greeting because sitting listening to that old boy and the way he's getting treated in the country that he served for. And he's getting overlooked for people who don't even belong here.
Yeah. Right.
So well done by that woman, Donna.
Right. Aye. We'll need to ask you all a favour. Right. That video has been up for 4 hours, and normal that video of that style, 4 hours, my channel putting out at 6 o'clock at night. About 4 o'clock. When did I put that out? It was about 4 o'clock to put it out. that would be up at 10,000 already, right? Now something strange happened to my channel. I got a legal complaint and a bit of video, which was bollocks, right? A total bollocks complaint. And what happens is you end up smothered. It takes you about a week to 10 days to actually start getting back to normal, right? And I showed you the figures the other day, didn't I, Kevin? Where I put 3 videos out and not one of them is over 1,000 views, right? That video's only had 1,200 views so far. And I don't care, right? I've got to take the good and the bad, right? So when you get a wee bit of your slow time, you get a bit of your slow time. But that old man's story needs shared, right? So do us a favour, make sure you share it, because I'll show you the figures.
Well, when you did share it, Craig, I put, the minute I watched it, I went onto your timeline, go to Holiday, and I tagged absolutely everybody in it. I'm talking Tommy Robinson, Dave Atherton, GB News, Harris. I'm talking all the big accounts. They got tagged in that today, and that needs to be watched. It needs to be seen, and somebody needs to.
It doesn't matter. Listen, right? Stop it there. Stop it there. Stop there. Right. See, when you share it on Twitter, nobody sees it. For the reason, when you share it on Twitter, you've got a link to take folk off Twitter. So Twitter don't want people leaving the platform, right? So it kind of, you get a trickle. I mean, the stats, you'll see there's the stats, right? So in the last hour, there's only 144 people watched that video. It said 1,200 since it went up, and then it went up at 5 o'clock, 5:15, right? Now, the two things that will keep a video going normally are, see this impressions click-through rate. As long as that's over 5%, and it's at 6.2 just now, YouTube will drive customers to your video. And the engagement, which is this bit here, 4 minutes out of 9-minute video, is smashing it, because the cutoff for that's about 30%. So 30% would be about 3 minutes 10, right? So it's getting it's at 40 odd %, right? Watch time average. That is tremendous. So what normally happens, when that figure's good, and when this figure's good, the click-through rate, that means this impressions should be mental, should be in hundreds of thousands, right? It's at 12,000. So they've only put it in front of 12,000 people, and 1,200 of them have actually watched it. So the video's been choked because my channel's been choked just now. We need to track the algorithm. We need to get people watching it who you're sending through WhatsApp, you're sending it through text, you're watching it yourself 5 or 6 times. When you watch it right to the end. All these things help sort of trick it, and then it takes about a week to a fortnight sometimes for me to start getting back to normal figures. But that breaks my heart. Right, listen, I'm going through a tough time with views on YouTube right now. Fine, my big boy will get over it, right? But this old boy's story kind of deserves it, right? And what I'm going to do, if you bear with me just now, video file, let's get this one. I was wondering why I'm looking in the sky. I've got a 42-inch telly behind my camera now, so I don't need to look down here at my laptop. I'm looking at this big 48-inch telly. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this at the time, because that's the comments over there.
This is Johnny. Johnny, what's your second name?
John McCutcheon.
And how old are you?
92.
And you were in the army?
The Black Watch.
For how long?
About 35 years. I'm one of the longest serving soldiers in the army.
Yeah, and tell me your situation. Why are you sitting here, Johnny, with this?
I'm sitting here because...
wait a minute, this says ex-Black Watch, 35-year, 91-year-old man, God bless. So you're sitting begging in the street, and tell them why.
Well, different reasons. One reason is the people who come here on the pretense of taking away our economy, taking away the future of Scotland, changing our economy. I'm here for that reason, and also because, well, I'm on my own, and my wife's dead, and I'm here to get. I've made a lot of friends, and the friends keep me alive. Keep me alive.
I know. Could you tell me about the £400 that the council sent you an invoice for, Johnny?
Yeah, they sent me. Well, what it was, when my wife was alive, she got me one of these things.
Community alarm.
Yeah, and I forgot all about it.
Was it a community alarm or was community alarm? Okay, so that's in case you fall.
Yeah, that's in the
so
house.
You put, so that's a good idea. So they charged you what?
Well, they said they gave me first of all for £400, and I went down to them. I said, look, I'm not paying that. I want to cancel it because I should be getting it for free because it's under my health, because I've got heart trouble. And if I'm on my own in the house, and if I fall, how can I communicate for whatever?
Of course. Now, tell me what you think of the illegal refugees in the Queen's Hotel and the Station Hotel, because I believe there's 191 of them. So what do you think of that, Johnny? Now, you'll be for giving them a sanctuary, of course, if they're legal. Tell me what you think about the illegal ones.
I'll tell you what it is. I don't mind if the people come in and go put money into the economy,
Yes.
brains who are going to join the society rather than come in and just...
And you'll welcome them.
I welcome them. If they become into society and be a part of society. And I don't think a majority of them, I see young guys here, very young guys, if they were running away from their country, why weren't they fighting like I was during the war for their own country?
Because they've fled the country, and what they do, Johnny, is they come over in the dinghies. They pay money to come over.
Yeah.
They'll no stay in France. They come to Scotland and England because Scotland's a very weak country. We've got Keir Starmer, and he's got no backbone, so therefore they're getting all the benefits free now. See the likes of yourself, that you've worked all your life.
Yes.
You were in the army, whatever. That's your money. That's your taxpayers' money that is actually keeping them.
I paid all the taxes.
Johnny, they get free gym memberships, they get fresh fruit every day, they get 3 meals a day, and they get money, I think it's every day or weekly, and they're getting protected. And the council are doing nothing about it. There's more coming over every day. Johnny, could you just say exactly how you feel? I'm going to wrap this up, but thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you. I've known you all my life. You were a friend of my father-in-law's.
Yeah. No,
Bob Henderson.
Oh,
that's my father-in-law.
How's it? Bob's dead now.
Yeah, Bob passed away. But listen,
how's your wife now?
His wife's fine, but this is about how you feel. So why are you sitting here, Johnny? And what's your circumstances at home?
I'm sitting here thinking I'm doing my own little thing, and to sort of showing the society that this is Scotland.
This is Scotland. This is Great Britain, and the illegal immigrants are getting more benefits than you. Am I right?
All the benefits.
Right. So, do you get any benefits, Johnny? If you didn't mind me asking.
I don't get no
So
benefits.
you get nothing at all.
No, nothing at all.
Right, Johnny. I'm going to wrap this up now, but I really appreciate everything you've said.
Here, Bob Henderson.
Okay, I'll give you a wee
Oh.
hug before I go.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
thank you. Hang on a minute. I'll just turn this off. Thank you.
That's fucking terrible.
Heartbreaking, isn't it? Well, good news. The girl that videoed that is a woman called Donna, who John had spoke to at the protest in Perth on Saturday. Kept in touch with her. She was raging about an article that went in the Daily Record. She's apparently in the Daily Record tomorrow, I think, with an article which I think they'll try and do a hit piece on her. I was in Perth last night, and they stay just outside Perth, and she contacted me, and I only had a spare 45 minutes. I left in Perth for half. Is that your dog? I ran over to see her and her mum last night for a wee 45 minutes. Lovely people, and she's coming on to do a podcast with me tomorrow, to record something tomorrow morning. And she sent me that today, that video. So meeting up with her, doing a podcast with her remotely tomorrow. And I've already reached out to soldiers that I know to say, look, just guys, if anybody, in ex-Black Watch and all that hers, so we need to look after that man. Just did an email, a message there. Just letting you know, this is for a random person that just watched the video. Just letting you know that I sent an email to Black Watch Regimental Association, because on my video I say, look, I'm sure they'll have an association to look after their own. Regarding John McCutcheon, and copied you in on it. I'll also bring up his situation at the next Para-Regiment Association meeting down here. This is obviously someone who's ex-Para. It's wrong for a veteran to be in that situation, especially at 92 years of age and 35 years service. So I'm quite sure the good boys will be looking after one of their own, and I'm going to find out exactly where he sort of hangs about when I speak to Donna tomorrow, and the next time I'm in that area, even if it's just to go up and get a wee 20 minutes with a man, because he seems lonely, and he's there. It's just sad. So
that's the thing, Craig. I mean, I mean, see this week, Craig, right? I've seen two things this week that have actually broke my heart. The two young lassies. I hate watching that video because you hear the fear in their the young lassies' voices, and now this elderly man. We're looking at two sides of life here. People at the start of their life and people just towards the end, and I just think to myself, how can we fail so badly as a country and as people when there's people out there supporting these illegal, unvetted, undocumented men coming into our country, getting absolutely everything, and we're ignoring the people that need the most vulnerable in our country. I mean, the two videos this week, I mean, I'm even embarrassed about this because these two videos have broke me this week. That video with that young lassie, you hear the terror in their voices as they're talking, and you hear that old man there got nobody, and he's a lonely man, and he's out in the streets begging because he can't afford to pay for an alarm in case he falls in his home. And our government is giving these bastards, sorry for swearing, everything. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
No, it's a sad story. You know, when I watched it, I was upset. I was angry. I was actually humbled that this guy's 92 years of age. And Donna sent me photographs after I put the video together, and it was him in his youthful days. He was a bodybuilder, right? This fat man. I mean, he started obviously a fat man, and when he reached the right old age of 92, and he's still got all his bits about him, and he's able to, look after himself. He's obviously living at home. He's not in a care home or anything like that. And this isn't how it should be. Do you know what I mean? And if we weren't spending £5 billion a year on hotels alone for people who shouldn't be here because they're landing on our shores illegally, then how much more could we help society? And how much, if we didn't waste all the money that we waste and the bungs that are getting flung all over the place and all this stuff that we do as a nation, much better could we be? I done a podcast a couple of days ago with Alex Neil, who was a cabinet minister under the Alex Salmond government, the SNP, and we were talking about stuff like this as well. And that man, do you know what I mean? Yes, me and him disagree totally, and we had a bit of laugh about it when we were making the video on the constitutional question of Scotland. But on other things, just looking after people, then we agreed quite a lot, if not all, other things. And we were talking about stuff like, the waste and the money that we spunk in NGOs and charities that we don't need. And White British and Reddy's made a very good point. That is one of thousands. It is. But I think because he's 92, it just, you go, what? That's it? Is that kind of what we're doing? Do you know what I mean?
Well, do you know what, Craig? If anybody that has watched these videos of these young lassies and that young man, right, there's an opportunity next week at Holyrood to make sure that everybody that cares about this country turns up en masse. There's no excuses anymore, right? We're running out of time, right? We cannot continue to make excuses as why we can't turn up to these things. But we have got to be heard, because that is the generations that we are failing, because we have been complicit in voting these governments in time and time and time again. And the only people that are going to change it are the people that are willing to stand up. And God bless yourself, Craig, and God bless Alec for Spartan, and God bless John, and God bless Ryan H. Thank God for the likes of Sean Toll and Bobby that comes in and talks a lot of sense all the time too, because people need to start listening to people that know what's going on in this country, because we cannot keep going the way we're going, because that is the people that we are failing. And this carry on with these two young lassies where they're playing that guy behind the camera as a victim. Well, he's no victim. You've seen him all over social media today. He thinks he's some sort of ticket. He thinks he's some sort of gangster, flinging money about like he's something special. He's no victim. The young lassies were the victim because they're scared, they're frightened, and then you're sitting watching that old boy, £400 to pay for something that he needs, but somebody's getting 3 square meals a night right now, and is getting a nice warm hotel to sit in right now, while that boy's out in the street begging for money. No, it's wrong. Grow a set of boys, and everybody, you get to Holyrood next week, 6th of September, 12 p.m. Make sure you're there, because we need to start getting louder than these left-wing lunatics that think that's acceptable, because I don't find that acceptable. I'm ashamed right now in what's going on in my country, because we're overlooking these people that need us. Sorry for the rant.
Why you're the ranter, mate? It's what you do. It's from the heart as usual. You don't duck anything. You just get right in about it, and fair play to you, mate. It's just shocking. It's terrible. And don't ever apologise for having a passionate.
And you know, I'm glad that people like you, Craig, right? I mean, you get up in that stage, and you speak, right? And you don't duck. John gets up and he doesn't duck. Alec gets up, he doesn't duck. Everybody that I watch gets up, nobody ducks now. And this is why I keep saying, anybody that's doing what yous do, yous need support, because it's not a cheap game. You've got DJR Media, right? He's a young boy who's making his way in the world, right? And he needs the support because he's turning up everywhere. You've got David for Guerrilla TV. It turns up. God bless that man. Doesn't he drive a car? But he'll get on a bus and he'll sit in a bus for hours to go where he needs to be. We've got to start supporting the people that are trying to make a difference. But protests need to happen. We need, anytime there's something out there for us to be at, we've got to be there. Because it needs to happen. We cannot allow this government to keep doing what they're doing. It is disgusting. And they 2 videos this week should be enough for to get everybody that's got a heart and cares about their country to get up and stand up to be counted. Because I ain't fallen on the wrong side of history, and I'm pretty sure most of us don't want to fall on the wrong side of history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aye. So there we go. Somebody was asking about it's the 6th, which is basically next Saturday.
Aye, week Saturday, mate. Aye.
I think I've been asked to talk at it. I'll need to check. There's that many stuff flying about now. So, Falkirk on Saturday, Kev.
Well, we've got choices, haven't we? Falkirk, Aberdeen. I'm trying. There was something I'm looking into as well. That might be happening. I'm not 100% sure. I was got to, once I get there's a protest going to be happening in Dundee, funnily enough.
Good.
So I think if that one does go ahead, I think I might actually make the effort to go there. Because I mean, Falkirk, I've been to Falkirk. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would go back to Falkirk. That was a fantastic crowd a couple of weeks ago. But I think because of what's happened this week in Dundee, if they have got one going on, I think we need to make our way there. The hotels are not going anywhere. So I mean, I'll keep an eye and I'll keep you posted on that one. But I'll be at one of them this weekend. I'm planning if it's a dry day on Sunday, I'm planning going up to Aberdeen to give Stephen, Rennie and Alan and John a bit more support up there as well. If it's a dry day, I'll get up there and take part in whatever they've got, whatever one they've got on. So we'll just need to wait and see. But somebody's asking, but when is the one in Dundee? Apparently there's one Saturday. I can't confirm it yet. I'm sure I've seen something, so I need to look into it first before I can confirm that.
Hold on a second, I'll just check something. I've put into a new media team thing for somebody quite well known the day, and there's somebody in there. Saturday. This is the ones they know about.
Uh-huh.
That's the 30th.
Aye, that's the 30th, aye.
I've taken out the Scottish ones. I had the Scottish ones in one I had earlier on. Let's see, there must be a few folk commenting on this thing. Yeah. Saturday 23rd, Perth, Radisson Hotel, 11 AM, non-confirmed.
That was last week. That was last week, mate.
I've got it.
It's a 30th Saturday.
What a tadger. Right. We've not got anything down for Scotland yet, but there's two that we know of. You've got Aberdeen, because they're at it. They're brilliant, man. They're the most consistent people in the world.
Apparently there's two this weekend.
Who? See what I mean? Absolutely nuts. What's the details you know so far?
Saturday is going to be one, and Sunday after football, apparently.
Right, because Falkirk are playing, aren't they? So they're hoping to get a bit.
They're planning to get Falkirk to come together.
My God, they're smashing it down south.
But,
Saturday this week.
There's been something as well come up in the news about the student halls in Old Aberdeen. They could be housing the asylum seekers as well.
Probably did during the summer recesses, mate. That's quite normal. They do that a lot in Glasgow.
Yeah, they're saying it's next to two schools as well.
There's 12 already on this board for Saturday in England. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on Sunday, and a couple 3 on Friday. Oh man, there's hunters on Friday. Alton, Bournemouth, Chestnut, Chichester, Dudley, Leeds, Orpington, Portsmouth, Roos, wherever that is, Southampton, Rugby, and Wolverhampton. It's brilliant, man. Brilliant.
It's good. It's good that it's good that, and I mean, God bless Martin Gucci, as we know. You've done the good thing as well by helping him and getting him on here and giving him a promotion, and he's another one that's been doing a bit of activism now. He's out there more often. Young Eddie is obviously been getting a bit more active as well. I've got another guy you've helped promoting your show as well. I mean, that's the thing, Craig. I mean, you do all this work to help other people too. Do you know what I mean? And you give them a platform and where they can themselves, and the reason you do it is because it's not just about one person. It's bigger now. But you've got to remember that.
Kev, give us a second. Somebody just there said, and Zero still in Glasgow. Just stay tuned. Road with Purpose. That's all I'll say to you just now. You'll be hearing about something in Glasgow. Should have had the details released today, but I imagine they'll get released tomorrow. Right, so I can put into this group. Aberdeen Saturday. What hotel is it?
It's back down at the beach, but it's at 2 PM this time. Patio Hotel.
Right, Patio Hotel.
I'll send you over the banner thing they're putting out.
That's right. 2 PM.
What was the hotel that we done after the Peterhead rally? Was that the Patio Hotel, DGR?
That was the patio as well.
Guys, I just wanted to get this done and out the road. Where's Saturday in Falkirk? Kev?
Claddon.
And what time?
I think that one's, don't quote me, but I'm sure that's a 12 PM kick-off as well.
Sunday, is that 6 PM?
Aberdeen,
DJ.
Oh, there's not been much information. It just said after the football, so yeah. Same one, I believe. Patio.
Was it closest to the ground?
Right. Well, the football kicks off at 3, so around about 5, I think, I'd say.
Right, okay. Right, well, we've been at this for 2 hours. There's nobody coming to talk apart from Bobby. I kind of want people to come up and talk for the audience. That's the whole point of having the show, the call in. So I'll give 5-10 minutes if there's nobody.
Well, if I could raise one issue.
Of course you can.
Just something that happened to me this morning. I was talking with somebody and they happened to mention about a local site near where I live, which they said, oh, that'll be all closed down in a couple of weeks because, you know, it's seasonal, being a caravan site. We need to be careful. See all these caravan sites we've got up here. We've not had the problem England's had, and we haven't had it for anything like the amount of time England's had it. And if we get them to close all their bloody hotels, they might find that's the easy way to get them all out the way. Send them up to go on holiday in Scotland for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to find a way to look out for what's happening with all the campsites. Static homes, as they call them.
There we go. We've got somebody returned to another blether. Johnny, how are you tonight, Johnny? You there, Johnny? Are your phones in? Evening, Johnny. You're muted, Johnny.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
I am good. Houston, can you hear me?
Yes, you got the whole thing right there. So what are you saying tonight, Johnny?
I just want to say, I want to can you hear me?
100% loud and clear.
Oh, not quite sure why. I just want to say thank you so much for the stream. It's been great.
Thank you. And nothing bothering you this week, Johnny?
Well, again, a feedback problem here.
Okay, sorry, we're not getting any early with you, so I don't know, maybe something you mentioned maybe here. Is it just your own voice that you're getting feedback on, Johnny? Yeah. Do you want to tell us anything that's bothering you this week? Anything that's bothering you this week, Johnny?
Yeah. Not quite sure. I think I've got a problem here with my equipment.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yep, definitely.
Johnny's got a problem.
Everyone's got issues with tech.
Every time he comes on, right, the first thing he does is he comes into the room, right, and then I don't know what he does, he walks away to the back of the room to do something in the back of the room and then comes back. I don't know whether it's a wee habit he's got or he's doing something there, which is quite funny. So we'll wait to give a few minutes and hopefully.
By the way, just because you got some dead air, don't be putting that video up again with that old boy. I can't cope with watching that again.
Okay, I shan't do that. It's a tough watch, wasn't it?
Oh, mate.
Oh, by the way, look.
What?
The heat. What was I doing with the last time you phoned?
Oh, did you manage to get it buffed?
Proper buffed, mate. Proper buffed. It looked as if I'd had a peek at it. It was halfway through it and you phoned me. I stuck my camera on. And I looked at it once, right? I was like, look, Houston there, because it was like almost bald. And there it had the wee monk thing. And I says, and that side's like the PE teacher at a Grange Hill.
I mean, I've had some random phone calls in my time, man, but that, wow, I think that one's going to take it. Somebody doing their hair while they're on the FaceTime, you know what I mean?
Aye. They're white, British and ready. When Craig becomes First Minister, we need to keep Houston, we have a problem. Aye. Tell you, I'll not be the First Minister, right? I'll tell you who I have the problem. Whoever is the First Minister, if they keep their shite up, I'll be point of order. And he'll be like, oh no, him again. There'll be folks, even I'm not in the place, they'll be like unscrewing that buzzer and like disconnect. I'll be like that. Told you I'll go in that button, but I've meant to ask Alex Neil, see the point of order buttons, what colour are they? Because I'm sure it's red, right? And my challenge is in 5 years that you get up there, I'll hit it that much from the time I'm finished, it'll be pink, right? I battered hell out it that much. I'll have a pink button.
I still got that was one of the funny
Here's
nights on
Blue
it.
Pony
Talk
saying
about that.
we should demand a general election to vote out the SNP, but we don't need to demand a general election, Blue Pony, because there's an election May next year, so plenty of time to get shot in them. Oh, look at this. Gavin, you take out a Honda suitcase generator. In Perth, if anyone has a good set of speakers. There you are. There's an offer. I don't know who's arranging these things up there, mate, so just, I'm sure if you ask about locally, go to maybe some Facebook groups, there might be something like that. What are you talking about, Martian? Look, Martian's talking, like, as well talking in Gaelic. Set the SCE to opt, mate.
By the way, he's just,
about?
oh, listen, Martin's just as mental in person as he is on this platform, so.
Brilliant, isn't it? If I tell you, he's a clever boy.
He's
Me on the phone, I was trying to get something in my laptop, and it was like 5 minutes and the phone to happen, and I think it was done. You know what I mean? I don't even know what he had me doing. He's like, press here, do that, bump, right, bang, aye, gone, sorted. Brilliant. Well, I think Mr. Johnny's getting back in the room to let us know what was bothering him this week. But he seemed to want to just come up and say thanks for a decent stream, so we'll take that. And I think I'm going to draw it to close tonight because there's not many people coming up to talk, or I'd be here all night if people come up to talk. I'll be here as long as, you know, we've done. What's the best run? Was it 3.5 hours we've done? Wendy, question: is it possible to get Labour out before the next election? I don't think so. We've got so much of a majority in Westminster that why would they? It's not even close. It's not even as if, you know, a couple of by-elections and, you know, they could lose seats and it could swing the whole parliament. They're so far in front that can't see it. Why would they? Why would they call a snap election when if they'd done one right now, they'd probably lose more than half their seats? So I can't even. Yes, it's possible, but I don't think it's probable. Jenny, we need Labour out of South Lanarkshire badly. Yeah, here's another question. Did you see Jeremy Corbyn say that Hezbollah won't object to a referendum? No, but that doesn't surprise me. Kev, you've come back. You all right? You're in twice. Kevin? Yeah, Colin. Denzel, come in, Denzel.
He fell asleep or something?
I don't know. He's in twice, right? Earth Colin, Denzel, come in, Denzel.
Sounds like he's sleeping.
I think he's fell asleep. Maybe his dog's snoring. Yeah, I took them both out. So just kicked the two of them in case that's causing a problem. So kick from studio twice. I nearly hit the ban button there. I don't want any of that here, Kev. He'd come through here and he'd batter me.
He's not here to
Right, well, Norman McLean saying, keep going, Craig. Well, I will. But I need folk to come up and talk, right? Because I'm bored of Kev, right? So somebody else will need to come up and talk, or I will. Kev.
Right, listen, this is why I need to get this laptop off my mum, man. Because I do this on my phone, the minute somebody phones me, it kicks me off of this, do you know what I mean?
Aye. Have you not got a VIC-20 or a Spectrum ZX?
No, I'm still running up a Nokia 6210.
No,
I've got a BBC. I've got a BBC Micro.
Oh, what?
Don't want nothing from the BBC.
That's right, I know.
Sorry, I swore at you there, Bobby.
So, Kev, you've now got your body cam, your scooter, your drone. When you starting your YouTube channel?
Well, I need to sit down with you on that one. So I'm going to sit down with you, date that, and then John's going to help me set up TikTok as well. and then we can
Oh,
just
you like
then we can
TikTok,
start doing that. But I want to get this laptop first, and then that way I've got everything in place, because obviously I can do it through the laptop as opposed to trying to do everything through my phone.
I'd struggle with that.
What's that, mate?
You'd struggle doing editing on your phone, to be honest.
Aye.
Like, it's a pain.
So I've got something in the pipeline for that. Hopefully my mum can, because my mum's got a laptop and an iPad, but it's been locked out, so she needs to be able to get it reset. So if she can get it reset, I'll get that off her. If no, I'll need to just try and find a way to invest in one. But I've seen a couple like the laptop.
Right. That should be easy to sort, but just a factory reset on it.
You can't even get into the factory reset though, mate. That's the problem. It's been looked at as password protected, so I mean,
Is it a Windows PC?
Sorry, mate.
Apple.
Is it's Apple?
No, I don't know what type it is, Bobby. Because I spoke to my sister to see if she had one, but she didn't, because she works for a bank. She gets a new laptop every year, and she said my mum might have one. So I phoned my mum, and my mum had told me that she can't get in it because it's password protected. But if I can get a laptop, then obviously then I can put all the stuff that needs to be used, and then I can go out and document the stuff using my phone and the new camera I've got and the drone, and then I can come back and then put it into the laptop, edit it, and then download it onto YouTube and TikTok.
Right. If it's iCloud, then really there's no luck. If it's iCloud locked, if it's just a password though, you can get that off.
I don't think it's not to do with Apple, mate. I think it's like Windows.
If it's Windows, that's not a problem. If it's the login password, you can get it that easy.
All right.
Aye. That's dead simple.
Right. Well, what days? I'll jump in and see my mother tomorrow, and then see what she's talking about, and then I'll maybe give one of these a shoot, because I follow the two years anyway, so I'll maybe type these a
Just do
message.
like a FaceTime and try and get it through for you.
All right, mate. Sweet.
Blue Pony's asking, Craig, are you going to Westminster on September the 13th for the March? Yep, I'll be there.
Yep. I need bother, Michael.
Look at this.
You can build it.
I'm not turning this into an IT help desk, by the way. There's plenty of channels out there cover shite like this, and it's no mine, right? It's like he's been real coming on and talking Chinese, right? You get Martin going on about aux cables to Zeta, right? And folk talking about BIOS passwords, and there's a window. Oh my! How did Aberdeen go on these parts, son? He's out. There's no talking. Who's doing the deep breathing, by the way?
It's not me.
DGM.
What?
It's no Betty. Betty's in her bed.
3-0 down.
How did you go on?
Football. 3-0 down on football.
Oh. Just as well, you're better at protesting than kicking a ball.
Are you sure you want to say that, Kit? Are you sure you want to say that? Are you positive? How did Rangers perform?
Shite.
They did great. They kept it down to half a dozen.
We always punch them the way in Europe. Right? Celtic managed to get beat by a team for Kazakhstan. Borat was in goals, right? And Aberdeen. You beat that mob last year. FSG. Honestly, none of you can ever. Rangers were rotten. 6-0, redneck. No, but a man sent half in 8 minutes. You should have started with 10 men and no get beat 6-0, right? It shouldn't happen. Absolute bollocks, right? And this guy we've got as a manager, he's making the last 4 managers look absolutely fantastic. And they were rotten, right? So, but Aberdeen getting beat with Steaua Bucharest. That's not even the real Steaua Bucharest FCSB. It's like the shitty, like remake. But to be fair, these were 2 each in the first leg, and you have blown it. And we're at 90 minutes. There's somebody coming in to talk. I just heard a wee beep.
3 minutes extra time.
Oh, you could get a hat trick.
Just remember how it feels to be a Man U supporter.
Right, who's that? It's Base Patriot. How are you, sir? You've got
Good.
yourself on mute.
I'm good, fella. How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Very well, sir.
I had to go and probably warming a bit of a new headset because Denzel was slagging the life at me last time. So
probably woman.
I've got to pay it up over the next 42 years at 20 pence a go. Aye, which is a shorter version of the facts than Kevin's laptop story. I thought I was going to fucking have to pay my gas bill before he get his story out about a new laptop.
Oh, that's off.
Anyway, right. I think what's going on with these protests is great. Right, we're really doing a lot of. What am I talking about? You guys are doing a lot of great work, right? And you can see that it's having an impact. We Epping shut Nits hostel down, and the various other councils challenging their hostels. So it's definitely affecting change, right? But one of the things that's kind of bothered me a wee bit is we're just moving pieces about the board, and frankly, if, like you said, they're going to end up going elsewhere. So if they move them at the hostels or at the hotels, they're going to go into social housing, which is going to place a greater burden on obviously our already existingly stretched infrastructure. You've seen how Glasgow's now the migration hotspot when it comes to actually migrants. And for me, it's kind of getting to the point where you've got people doing protests up and down the country. You've got the left wing, you've got the right wing, and you've got everybody in between. What this really comes down to is a complete dissatisfaction with the government that we've got, right? And we can complain about one particular angle of their agenda, or we can complain about another. When I think in reality, right, we're going to have another 3 years of this, and you're going to see this gradually get worse. So there's rumours about the even bigger budget black hole and other services getting cut to pay for this, that, and the next thing. To do that, they're going to squeeze more people, but the people they're not going to squeeze are the people that really need to get squeezed, and that's obviously these large corporations, these energy companies that are claiming fortunes and stuff like that. And I'm not supportive of a revolution, but I am supportive of a mass movement that we need to get the government out. Right, and you think these things don't change, we can't wait in the ballot box. And I think it's coming to the point where we don't need to campaign against one individual policy. We need to campaign against the policymakers, and that is the government. And what I'd like to see as the movement grows, when you've got people at Ryland starting to challenge what's going on, I'd like to see us actually think about, well, how do we protest against the government, not against the policies, but against the actual government that's put these plans in motion and plans in place. And when you think about it, right, to me that's even more uniting of a country, because you've got more disaffected people than certain aspects of government policy. And I think by uniting the left and the right, we could actually affect more change. So I would like to hear what you have to say about
that. Don't disagree with any. I think as far as the protests against the government are concerned, there's quite a big one on the 13th of September down south. Tommy Robinson March, that's aimed squarely at the government, and the theme is free speech. And some of the people he's got talking at that are just phenomenal names and worldwide. I think the only British speaker that's actually Tommy, hardly enough. There's people from Europe, there's Peterson from Canada, who I think is a tremendous brain and a tremendous talker. And that's the sort of level we're at. And that'll be aimed very squarely at the government. And I'm looking forward to that. As far as the thing about dispersing of the hotels, every week we're finding more hotels, and every week we're finding more hotels getting more contracts. And these contracts are apparently 5 to 7 years. So how can you tell us on one hand that you're going to crack the gangs and you're going to reduce immigration, but it's been up for the first 12 months of your power, and we keep finding more hotels that are starting to get migrants. So, you know, and there is no
Well-
social housing.
Welcome to the world of government gaslighting, right? I mean, it's plain as day as far as I'm concerned that these people are gaslighting us, right? And the radio silence is better than lying to our faces. But when they have to, they'll just lie to our faces. We're going to smash the gangs. We're going to create laws that stop this from happening. We've got laws and all of that stop it from happening, right? If you really want to see what the government's spending on this stuff, you can just look on the public contracts website and you'll see how many billions we are spending on the Sercos of this world and the various other, even the Scottish government spending. I saw loads of different contracts on their public contract Scotland site where they are, you know, asylum seeker programs and stuff like that. So we are spending hand over fist on this. But you know, it's not just the asylum seekers. It's bigger than that, right? It's the absolute frivolous spending of our hard-earned cash on vanity projects that don't actually do as a service. All of these green energy things are ultimately engineered by the World Economic Forum, and the net effect of it is it's keeping us poorer and holding us back as a nation. And we'll dress it up, well, it's because we left the EU, or it's because of this, or it's because of that. See, when it comes right down to it, it's the fact that the government can't balance its books. So it's scaring the revenue people away, the people who actually generate wealth in this country for their socialist agenda, which on the face of it looks rewarding and the right thing to do. But the reality of it is we can't afford it. And we need to find a better way of finding the money, not by overspending and overtaxing, but by somehow coming into the middle again and actually making sure we can fulfill social contracts with the people of this country, the veterans, the people below the breadline, the people who have been put out of work, the people who are trying, and not engineering a society where we become dependent upon the state. Sorry, I think I've heard Kevin yawn there. I better go off my soapbox.
Kevin. I just want to show you something here, right? It's pretty bonkers, right? This just makes me laugh, right? I was just looking at the figures for the streams around about the different places we stream, and Twitter. On the screen, can you see it there? Yeah. I've asked it to screen share. Why is it not screen sharing?
Don't show that video again.
Oh, come on, Kev, great. Take that away. Should be this one. You want to see Hamza Yusuf's face for a second? I do apologise.
Oh God, no.
No.
Right, there we go. Right, now I'm going to just get rid of him in a wee sense. He's greeting about it now. Oh, he's getting, look, Nadia. Oh, God. Anyway, what I was wanting to show you was this over here live on X, right? So Basil, who was in and out in an hour, there's 2.7 thousand people watching this through X. And on mine, which I've got a fraction of the, I think I've got about 14,000 people on Twitter. 351 on there, right? Now, if you add them two together, that's 2,000 people. GB News are at 1,000. So there's double the amount of people, sorry, treble the amount of people watching this on Twitter than GB News.
It's like Elon says, this is where people get the truth. This is where people get their media.
Well, and I'll tell you something in a minute. So there's the figures for the YouTube. So that's 1.7. So what we are at 3, that's 4, nearly 5,000. It's just bonkers, isn't it? And I was watching I watched a lot of stuff about YouTube and how the analytics and all that carry on. I was watching a video this afternoon, and it was a guy telling you that you beat some, he needs to get some magic amount of subscribers, and he goes to a lot of like conferences and stuff about social media and whatever. And he was saying that YouTube is the future for entertainment, not just news, not just podcasts, whatever. and it's phenomenal. There's billions of hours every day watched on YouTube. It's becoming the new media. And there's more people watch YouTube, hours watched on YouTube than there is in Netflix. That's bonkers, isn't it? And Gavin's made a valid point that most people will watch TV using a smart TV. 100% get that, Gavin. I'm only using the comparison to Twitter because it's kind of the only one I can use. So yeah, but it freaks me out when that's happens. Do you know what we done last night, David? Sorry.
Based.
Based. Well, somebody said, I was on the phone to a pal, and he was like, see your channel. He says, you're nearly 80,000 subscribers. And I went, I know, it's all right, it's no amazing. He's like, well, what's the biggest YouTube channel about Scottish politics, right? I said, I don't know. So we started looking at it. He was shouting out names, and I was going onto their page, and there was people that we thought were really busy, have got like 2,000 and 3,000 subscribers, right? Do you know my wee shitey channel has got more subscribers on YouTube than STV? And I'm about 8,000 behind BBC Scotland.
So it doesn't surprise me.
I'm not saying it to like go, oh, look at me. I've not got a big YouTube channel. But when you take it into pure context, you're like, what is going on here?
Well, I think it's quite clear what's going on, right? And it's probably the same reason why I've quit Sky, I've quit BBC, I've just completely quit the mainstream media. And whenever I'm going to watch anything, I watch YouTube, right? I'll occasionally watch Netflix or Prime or Paramount or even Apple TV, right? Depending on what's on the go, right? But the reason I choose YouTube over the mainstream media is I get to pick what I want to watch. I don't have some but I don't have some media mogul decide what shite I'm going to eat, pardon my language, or putting political views or their opinions down my throat. I get to pick what I want to watch. And one of the reasons, and listen, Craig, I don't know if this is true or not, but certainly one of the reasons I started following you was, and people like yourself, was you speak to people on the street. You don't have an agenda. You don't have an angle. Your purpose and
I kind of doing some things.
Well,
somebody made an accusation at me the other night and said, "Oh, you just always want to smash the SNP." I'm like, yep, I hate them. Right, I can't stand them. I wish
but here's
to be
let me ask you this. Why do you hate the SNP? Besides their national tendencies,
competent. They're totally incompetent at governing the country, mate. They've had 17 years of it. The place is worse now than it was 17 years ago. That takes some doing.
Well, if it was a different political party, if it was Labour or it was the Tories, you'd hate them just as much. So what I'm saying to you is, you don't hate them because of your political views. You hate them because of the damage that they've done to this country and the gaslighting that they do on an industrial scale. If you've seen half the interviews,
it's a political competency that's terrible.
Competence, but
mate, I don't know if you've seen. You're just in, right? So you maybe never heard me speaking about it earlier. Did you watch or did you see that I've done an interview with Alex Neil that I put out last night?
Did I watch that? I don't think I've watched that one yet. No.
No, it's about an hour and a half long, right? Alex Neil, ex-SNP cabinet minister, right? He was a cabinet minister in the Alex Salmond years, right? Lovely guy. Second time I met him for a coffee last November in Glasgow through somebody mutual, and I was trying to help them with something. He was semi-involved in it. We met for an hour and a half up at John Lewis, the coffee shop, John Lewis. I was like, he's a cracking old guy, right? I don't agree with his politics, particularly obviously the constitutional question of Scotland, but he was a decent guy, right? And we were just talking about stuff, and he's like, oh, it's a shambles. Scottish government, terrible, right? Now that's a guy that shouldn't be saying things like that, because that's a party that he was a very high position in for a long, long time. And I can't remember, I was talking to somebody today, and because it was done in a studio, they kind of produced the video for me, so the camera shots didn't need to do any editing. I just had to cut the first few seconds off and the last few seconds at the end and stick it out. So I didn't actually watch the thing back when I'm editing it, which I normally need to do. So I can't remember what stuff was in the video and which stuff we were talking about before we went live and then after we were live in the car park of the studio. And some of the stuff he was telling me about Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP and all that, you're like, what? How did it go on? Do you know what I mean? But what he was telling me, and it's the ones who kind of tippled early to Nicola Sturgeon were all just like proper old school parliamentarians like him, Margaret MacDonald, you know, that sort of era. That were just like, she's a crank, right? Early doors. And some of them before she was even First Minister. But for some reason, Alex Salmond had as a prodigy and was hell bent on her being the leader of the SNP, which turned out to be the worst thing ever for the SNP and the worst decision probably ever made because it nearly put him in prison. Because that was
but coming back, right? Coming back to why you're successful, and you've given a good example of the SNP's incompetence and highlighting that. But it's not just that; it's the highlighting things that the mainstream media won't touch. You know, the Lesbos thing, the Northern Ireland thing, these various protests. Nobody in Scottish television is covering these Scottish protests. They're getting, 5 minutes on, and when I look at it, it's the Clyde One presenter or something like that is making the same mistakes that the mainstream media is having. Oh, here's a right-wing protest and stuff like that, without really considering the true plight of the people of Peterhead or whatever who have a genuine, legitimate concern for the way the council is being run. This is the danger, is that we're getting lost in the noise of this right-wing rhetoric when we have genuine causes for concern about the way the country's been run. And I think the way that you're shining a light on this is really making a difference. And, I think your channel is going to grow, and it will continue to do so as long as you keep honest about what's going on in Scotland. And it's not just like yourself. I've started obviously listening to Bring the Noise and a few of the other Guerrilla TV and stuff like that, and a lot of the other broadcasters and podcasters that are out there. And I think this is the new media, where we don't have to take what's fed to us by the media moguls. We can actually pick and choose the media we see. The danger we've got is that we end up in an echo chamber of the same political viewpoints or the same leanings. But I think as long as we're aware of what else is out there and the people that we follow are broad enough in their coverage and unbiased enough in their coverage, which is what I've seen from you firsthand when you're interviewing a lot of the left-wing people, even the stand up to racism people that you spoke to at Peterhead, you're also giving them a platform as well. You're getting a chance to hear what they have to say. And their point is, well, it's not the asylum seekers' fault that these problems exist, and to some extent they're right. This is what I come back to when I joined.
They're taking benefit of a situation that our establishment's created.
They're taking
the cheating, the lying, and someone when they get here they do some really bad things to your communities. But as far as getting here is concerned, they're only taking the piss out of people that we've allowed to happen. CJB Books fan is asking, is Guerrilla David going to be on, Craigie boy? Well, I doubt it because he's normally on before now, and I kind of think there's a libertarian conference somewhere that he's at tonight. I should have missed it. He's a libertarian, right? He's crackers, right? He's just brilliant. He's just a real funny guy. He just makes me laugh. He's so funny. He's so serious about his libertarian stuff, and I kind of don't like pigeonhole. So
can I just say one thing? Just quickly say something there as well. I mean, you've got to remember too, though. I mean, the podcasters that do a great job, but the message also gets carried out for the people that sit and listen to the podcasters or takes the time to follow and support them, because there's people that don't use these platforms. Do you know what I mean? And are unaware of it. They've gone about their life kind of blind to what's actually going on, and they don't take news after the mainstream media. They're unaware of what the podcasters that are out there doing, putting the kind of footwork in to get them information out there. So you've got to remember the more that these guys do, the foot soldiers below you, i.e. people like myself and that, we're out there spreading the word to people that don't hear it on this, and this is what I'll keep growing and growing and growing, because as Best Patriot rightly pointed out there, we are the media now. Well, not necessarily we, but you guys are, because at the end of the day, if you want to get the correct information, you come here, if you want to be brainwashed into thinking the world is one love and everything's all rosy in your country, then you go to that big square box in the corner of every single room in every house in the country, because that's what it is. You're just getting fed absolute nonsense that comes through that every single day.
Here's an invite. Haley Joanna Perkins said, I enjoy watching this on YouTube. However, I'm trying not to say anything about anything because people say I'm trolling. I think I've got a right to say how it is here in Newport, Gwent, South Wales. I tend to agree with you, Haley. So you're watching us on YouTube. Could you do me a favour? Go into the description. You'll see a link to StreamYard Studio. Click that, and within about 3 seconds, you'll be in this studio, and I'll give you the time to see whatever you want about Newport, Gwent, South Wales. How's that sound? Because that's what the show's meant to be about. People coming up, calling in, tell us what their problems are all across the UK. So please take me up on the offer, Haley from Gwent, and we'll see you soon. Houston may have a problem. Hibs look like they're going through. That's what it's allowed. So kind of glad somebody's making a bit of a dent in the coefficient, and it's not just left to the Rangers again, you know.
Oh, for God's sake, man!
You're going to have a problem with me talking. You're going to have a problem with me telling truths and stats. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're not going down this road again, man. Like, it's been a terrible week.
I don't want to be fit by phone in. I don't want it to be.
Did you see that last message you put on there, right, about the class war thing? I think that is. Oh, you missed it. Right. It was actually a good post. Do you think it was something about the class war, so people don't vote Tory and just let Labour in again? I think that is actually what's been engineered here, right? So what's going to happen is when the next budget comes out, there's rumours about Rachel Reeves now tackling landlords, right? And they're now going to tax them and stuff like that. And this is again coming back to the point of what I said on the call. The people who can't fight back, right, are the ones who are paying the biggest price in this country. The people who are having, mass immigration forced in their communities, the people who are trying to start a business, the people who are paying higher taxes, the people who are dragged into the higher tax rate brackets, right? Nurses are now, some of the nurses that are doing overtime or on contracts or whatever are now paying some of these higher tax rates. They are saying it's the people who are upper class are the ones that are causing the problems. It's the landlords, it's the thing. They're trying to get us to hate each other when we're all feeling the same pain. Just in different ways, right? It could be immigration, it could be a council shunting services.
I'm not a fan of. Aye, I need to say something here. I'm not a fan of Hibs, right? But they were 2-1 down in the first leg of that UEFA Conference League playoff, and I'm thinking they're out, right? Because they were 2-1 down. Sorry, when they were at home tie, and I've came back and scored 3 goals, all in the second half. And if they go through at that, there's a minute to go a full time. Fair play to them. They deserve to go through. Anyway, I don't want to turn that into a football chat, but I thought that was quite a decent thing to be fair. Sorry, David, for cutting you off there.
Yeah,
somebody else been watching Chris Snedden, old boy from Blackwatch. I was crying.
Oh, Denny.
Somebody else saying, yep, come on, Haley, up you come. Anyway, anybody else getting to say before we think about that? I'm kind of wanting some more people to talk to be honest with you.
Well, I'm going to get going because I've got a couple of things I need to do, but I just want to echo the sentiments.
To the shifts done.
Right, well, I just want to echo the same sentiments that Base Patriot just said there. I mean, good on you, Craig. Bring the noise. Alex's partner and Ryan H, who I'm now calling the four faces of Scotland. Because if it wasn't for people like you, we wouldn't have a clue what was going on in reality. And good to all the people like DJR Media, Stephen Rennie, Alan, John, Connor for Falkirk, who are out there now getting active every single week and getting outside these hotels and making their feelings known. And what we need to now see is we need to see more and more of this. And if you and I know you'll agree to this, Craig, but if anybody wants to organise a protest out any of their hotels that's housing these illegal, undocumented, unvetted men, I'm pretty sure you'll give them a platform in which to promote it. And what we do is we just get there on in numbers, we get there en masse. But the next one, the big one, next week for us, 6th of September, Holyrood. Your time, you're all sitting in these channels, you listen, you're all moan, you've all got plenty to say. Well, the thing to do, the only way to do it is to get out in the streets and put boots in the ground. And that's what we need to do, because I was guilty of that for a long time, just sitting in spaces all day. As Dave Pace said, it was echo chambers. Well, we just got to get ourselves out there now and get involved. And if you needed any further proof of why it's important this week, I'll just refer you back to 2 videos. The one in Dundee and that young man that we just watched earlier on. There's your 2 reasons as to why you need to get out in the streets and start getting loud. So 6th of September, make sure you're there, and let's make Holyrood aware that we are no longer going to be slipping away silently.
Totally agree with you, but one of the problems we've got with this is the fact that they're not going to listen to us, because historically we've always just sat back and been good boys and girls and said nothing, and they don't believe we're prepared to get up and fight. And unfortunately, that's where they're going to take us. That's where they want to take us. They want to see us with the pitchforks and the torches out in the street. That's what they want.
I agree with you, Bobby. I mean, I listened to. I talked to John. I listened to John and Sean Toll the other night there, and I've listened to yourself in the past as well. And I do tend to agree with what's going on, right? But you guys do a bit more deep dive and I get lost with that sort of thing. But what I can deal with is the stuff that's directly right in my face right now, and I can physically see the damage that this illegal migration's done to my country. Do you know what I mean? And I will get to where you guys are. I know I will, because I do believe that the 20-minute cities, the digital IDs, the ULEZ, the Oris division, I get that's why they're all doing it. But right now, the thing that I can see most clearly, I just need everyone kind of black and white, if that makes sense to you. Do you know what I mean? So it's because it's right in my face that I can see it, and I can do something about it. And by doing something about it, I mean getting out in the street and get loud. And I do get loud when I'm out there. Do you know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that. Somebody's got to drown out Craig.
I'm not achieving that one anytime soon.
No, I've heard you've got a big megaphone.
Aye, well, my megaphone is fine.
Let's go, my mouth, Bobby.
Aye, so no, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to see any of you guys down in London. Might run into you. If I see you, I'll give you a shout. I don't put my picture up online if I can help it, because I've got all sorts of issues with the government and the way it spies on you. But it is what it is, and I mean, some of you guys are braver than me. I mean, I used to live in Dunstable, which is the next town up from Luton. So I get line of sight of the stuff that Tommy Robinson talks about way in advance of a lot of you guys, because what was happening down there wasn't really being spoken about up here. I mean, I remember as a youth being brought up and asked questions like, why are the English so bloody racist compared to us? We're not as racist as them. And then when I first went down to live in England, I was working down in London, and I went out one Saturday, and I couldn't work out why, but I just suddenly felt bloody uncomfortable. And I went into a cafe to have a coffee to sit and think about it, because I mean, I felt really, really I felt like somebody was going to hurt me. And sitting in the cafe, I looked out and I thought, that's what it is. There's no white face out there. And it sounds stupid, but whether we like to accept it or not, we're all naturally racist. But it's not racism the way we get told it is. It's racism based on we're pack animals and we don't like being on our own. We feel endangered being on our own.
It's tribes, Bobby, innit?
Aye, very tribal. Now, that's an old instinct. We can get rid of that and get away from it. But I mean, that's why when I went down, I realised when I looked around most of England and saw some of the things that I was seeing, you could go to towns in England that were, back then, you were probably talking only about 25 to 30% were actually non-whites. Now you've got towns in northern England where less than 0.5% of the population's white.
74%. I think the last time I seen Bobby.
There's one town that's got less than 0.5%.
Aye.
You go in down its main street, you won't see any signs written in English. They're all written in Urdu.
That shouldn't be allowed.
Alexander's asking Craig if you told the story about the girl from Dundee. No, I've not. And the reason I've not yet is I want to get all the facts first and not just about the girl, right? Because then it's just a one-sided story and it's kind of tough one. What she done was horrific, right? No person at that age should have to be carrying those things, but I'm an advocate of anti-knife crime, so I don't want anybody to be carrying blades in the streets. However, I think to tell that story fairly, you need to show the whole situation, and none of us have seen that yet. And until I can get facts on it and no conjecture, I think I know what's happened. But for me to put a video, when you bear in mind, I'm due at Co-op on the...
Don't tell us you missed it.
No, 19th of September. That's a delayed one. The first one was the 9th of August, the 8th of August that got delayed. I feel as if I'm under the spotlight with every single word I say in every video I put out. So I'm probably going through the so what I'm looking for.
I wish everybody took your stance on that though, Craig.
I was going to say, didn't stop Hamza Yusuf posting about it though.
Right.
Aye, but Hamza's the right colour to be able to post about anything and get away with it. That's Hamza, that as far as I'm aware, and I think Craig would even have reported on some of this, was turning around and saying it was Islam that gave us hospitals. It was Islam that gave us coffee. That was another
antibiotics. I done a video.
Hospitals, schools.
What is it you call it? Debugging every single claim he made. The closest one it got was coffee, right? It was a guy that was a monk and a shepherd in an area that is now a Muslim area. I think it was Ethiopia, right?
But the thing that makes me laugh and just interrupt
his life. No, you can't interrupt me. You know, take a clue. It says the Craig Houston's right.
What's the Craig Houston show? No, I've heard a lot of arguments discussing this, where people like him discuss these sort of things and say, we brought this, we brought that. And when I hear a lot of the arguments about Gaza, and I hear them saying, that was our land, and I keep looking at them and saying, I might be mistaken something here, but your religion didn't start until 633. So before 633, nothing was yours, because you didn't exist. So when you make claims about that land's yours...
He makes a claim that he's a very proud Scots person, right? Now, I think even the sort of least proud Scottish person in the world, if there was one, would be able to tell you what Alexander Fleming was famous for, right? But you would know, he made a claim about penicillin, right? And antibiotics. And if you don't know who Alexander Fleming was, what a tremendous story of that man, right? Then you can't, I don't think you can tell people you're proud to be Scottish. And he makes this big claim that he's proud to be Scottish and Pakistani. But he thinks that it wasn't Alexander Fleming that, gave us one of the most successful antibiotics known to man. Man's a cretin.
Maybe if he'd went to a proper Scottish school, he'd have learned that rather than, was it Hutchie Grammar?
He went to a very good school. Listen, I know lots of people that come out of Hutchie Grammar with a very good education, so you can't even blame that. His parents paid fortunes for it, and he still doesn't know who Alexander Fleming is. I'm
there
sure
you
it's
go, I
sure
went to
much.
public
I looked
school.
into this at the
And I knew
time.
that.
But you know, aye, but you know the way you get your houses, right? And mine was at Graham when I was at high school, right? I'm sure the one in Hutchie that he was in was Fleming House. And you would kind of think you spent 6 months of your life in the House of Fleming.
Aye,
You
but
kind of understand who it was
he
named
just
after.
thought that was related to TB. Phlegm, PHLEG.
Got
James
you,
Bond.
boom, boom. Right. I think I need to end it because that was poor. That was poor. Right.
I'm going to have to drop, guys, anyway, and I go back to work. But it's been a pleasure as always. Keep up the good work, Craig. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers, best. Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
thank you.
coming. Cheerio.
4-4 for the Hibs game.
Stop it.
Aye, they've got a late one.
No. Oh, there you
90th
go.
plus 4 minutes.
Legia scored 90 plus 3. That's shocking, isn't it? So that's, do you go to extra
Extra
time, don't
time.
you? We'll not go straight
Yeah.
to pen.
Waiting for extra time.
Ah, actually, that's some effort to be
It's
fair.
better luck,
Right.
it's better luck than Manchester United had.
Who are they playing? The mighty Grimsby?
Aye, mighty Grimsby Town. Two leagues below them. And they lost 12-11 on penalties.
Unbelievable. There's somebody. Laurie, we covered that very topic. I done a video on it today and we spoke about it at length on tonight's show. So, Laurie, I'm disappointed. That's the first notice I've seen for you, Dalton. And if you've missed the first 2 hours and 55 minutes of their podcast tonight, I'm most disappointed in you. That's not very good.
Certainly by a boycott the co-op for doing
I
that.
hope Papa, he's lost the plot. He's getting a ban.
Who's that?
Oh, he was on about Hamza's great and all that, carry on.
Aye, but I think it was a bit of
There's
banter.
right. Anyway, that thing's disappeared. Aye, that's not disappeared. White British and Ready says, are Muslims allowed to peddle beer? The odd thing is, see, the way the thing's scripted because they're going to donate money or, it's a no-profit thing to Gaza. A lot of people just thought it must be a brewery in Gaza. And it's not, she's actually Christian and she's for the West Bank. So, aye, there you go. I don't think I'll be trying it.
Nah, neither will I. I'll be taking nothing to do with that. I don't even know what Palestine is. I mean, it's not even a real country, so I don't know what they're banging on about.
Very racist, Kevin. Very racist.
Well, do you know what? If people want to call me that, they can fill their boots. I don't care. It's a throwaway comment now.
Everybody gets called racist.
Right,
now,
so
and
bad.
Is it? It doesn't matter.
The figures with about 2,000. I'm trying to wrap up here, mate. We're about 2,000 on YouTube tonight. X, we've had 2,500, so there's about 4,500 people tuned into this tonight, which is absolutely bonkers, isn't it, when you think about it? It's just pretty crazy. So, listen, thanks to you guys for coming in. I'd be boring without you. And thanks very much for the, I say 4,500 people that have watched it over the different platforms. Amazing. So thanks everybody. And do us a favour, you see my videos just now, they're going in a slump because of a legal complaint I had against one of my videos and it's been removed off platform, and it always takes a while to get the thing back going. And that video, I'm just going to check it actually now. That video with John McCutcheon, the 92-year-old up in Perth, that should be smashing the internet. But because of the constraints of the channel just now, it's had 1,500 people view it in just under 5 hours. That's right. So do what you can with that one, please, guys. And we'll see you again soon. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, so I don't know if we'll do a live tomorrow. But it's been fun as usual. Been watching the chat, just seen names coming up all the time in the chat that have been almost every time I do a live. You guys are here, so I appreciate that, and it's good to see you all on the wee chat and create a wee community there. on the streams. And what I would do is, when I've got one of the Houston Harbour problems, Collins, come in, please, please, please come in, because that was why I started the show. I wanted to make it like an X space where people can come in, say their piece, you know, go back down, come back up an hour later, whatever. And that's kind of what I'm keen to try and recreate on the YouTube platform. So I can't do that if you don't come up. So you're viewing in your numbers. So even if 1% of 4,500 people came up, we probably couldn't fit you in. So that's all we're looking for. 1 out of 100 of you. And see you all again soon. So unless you are, we'll be covered tonight. Oh aye, it's been a long night. Basil was on, it seems ages ago, telling us about the sarcastic with the news. Don't know whose mic's that is. I think it's yours, Kev. I'm just going to mute you just now. It's creating a lot of noise. You know, there's a lot of things we covered. So unless you're the type of person who believes Romanians are not foreigners, because the guy in Dundee was that, believes that Africans are actually Glaswegians, when it came to the primary school nudie guy that took all his clothes off and was reported in the papers as a Glaswegian, a Glasgow man, unless you're the type of person that creates this industry and chaos of immigration, then not you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.